Don't worry. I'll
We were pointing out how like there isn't a term in Japanese for NFT yet, so they're just like, why are you actually what NFT?
Yeah, well, they do that with some. Well, they do have loads of different words, don't they? So
Yeah, no, I know. So I pointed out the similarity, like BBC Alba, like the Gaelic channel.
yeah,
A lot of words that don't have Gaelic translations because it's an old language and there's modern words. So you'll be watching it and they'll just be, hide it's a helicopter.
yeah. Oh, okay. Like I doesn't have a word. Wait, what? Hold on. I didn't do what I wanted it to do.
What are you trying to do? Center
Hold on.
yourself in the middle of the screen because
There
you've
you
done
go.
that.
No,
Well
I didn't want to center myself in the middle of the screen. No, in fact, I did not. I just wanted to put myself back on the other side. There we go.
Maybe you should have set up 2 sets of scenes, one with the left, one with the right.
Well, no, because I've never had to go over to the left.
Well, see, that's your problem. Communism. Of course, you, the Tories, never had to go to the left.
I'm not a Tory. Oh my god! I swear to God. Right.
Hanging around on the right wing. I see you.
I agree. I agree with him though, because there's no info from credible source. Just two random groups of people on the internet, with one saying "I love this" and the other saying "No, this is bad. Remove it."
I've looked at it. It's imaginary money, but that's dumb.
Yeah. In terms of like everything that's ever been a thing in the gaming industry, from loot boxes to battle passes to all the stores and everything, and it's not just a video games thing, right? NFT is not just a video game thing, but like if we're just looking at it in the video game sphere, it's the most ridiculous thing. It like someone at some point said, "Hey, you know, in this day and age, when we have items that are made, and then someone wants to purchase that item," and the other guy goes, "Yeah." Somebody said, "How about we make that a whole lot more fucking complicated and weird, where I sell someone something, but I still get the money."
But I never owned it in the first place.
But I never owned it in the first place. It's literally like me going...
Pyramid scheme. Wait, you're not allowed to call it that out loud.
So it's literally like me taking Ray's Zergling plush that she got, right? Or the Baja plush, and going, yeah, so if you pay me £200, I'll give you a receipt that says you own that plush. And the guy's like, deal. I'm like, cool. And then it goes up on a fucking database somewhere. And I'm like, pleasure doing business with you. I've got £200. He's got a piece of paper saying he owns that plush, yet he doesn't physically have it, own it, or have access to it in any way, shape, or form. And it actually belongs to Ray. Because they bought it. So that's how dumb this whole thing is. It's absolutely dumb. That's how ridiculously dumb it is. And I hate it. I hate it. I hate that people are falling for it. I hate that people are trying to get behind it. And most of the people that are trying to get behind it are the people trying to make money off it, because they're like, oh no, I wanna scam people. So yeah, NFTs are great. It's great. It's good, people, honestly. And then there are people that are stupid enough to believe it.
But then there's people that are way too smart buying into it, which is what I don't get. Like, see if it was just a bunch of absolute idiots, you're like, ugh, them again. Like, if Kanye West announced NFTs as a thing, you'd be like, ugh, it's Kanye being Kanye again.
Yeah.
But there's like plenty of examples of people that previously you would have thought would have had a brain.
Yeah. Seriously. Let me just rock back to Nami. Though, it'll be said in a way that fits how Japanese is spoken, so sometimes the words get a bit mangled. That's very true.
For two things.
Oh.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, no.
Hello, Kex.
Flee.
Flee for your lives.
No. So, the one thing that I do want to point out, two things about NFTs, is number one, if they were apparently as, like, you know, it's one thing that Stephanie Sterling says, if they were as good and they made you as much money as they possibly, as they supposedly do, why would people be sharing them? Surely they'd want to keep NFTs to them, like the idea of NFTs to themselves to make more money.
I was about to say, where is the history of someone making money and then going, I'm going to tell everyone how I did this? No.
Secondly, NFTs are just the gamers' equivalent of a monkey's paw, because us collectively as gamers went, God, I wish they'd stop doing loot boxes.
But they didn't come to gaming first, though.
Yeah.
It was like
Oh,
digital
no,
art.
I know that, but that's how I see it in my head.
But we're still going to get. In fact, which game is it that now has fucking loot box NFTs?
Oh God, what? Ugh.
Would it surprise you?
I heard it on the Gymquisition.
Would it surprise you if I told you it's Ubisoft?
Oh no,
it doesn't surprise me. But which game was it?
I think.
Or is it just a Ubisoft?
It's not Rainbow Six Siege. It's that fucking the mobile game they did.
Oh my God.
It's like you get different rarities of NFT from the loot boxes.
Oh God, they're hybridizing them.
Even though every NFT is supposedly unique anyway, so
what?
How can it be rare?
Don't worry. Once they've convinced people, like if they convince people that NFTs are a great thing, then they'll move on to the thing of they don't actually even give you a receipt to say that you own it. You just buy it and then just assume that it's yours.
And also, do you know what's worse about Ubisoft? They gave NFTs to their staff as a bonus.
Oh my God.
Could you imagine working at Ubisoft?
From a company who changed their logo to the top-down view of the poop emoji a few years ago, I'm not surprised.
Well, with celebrities, sometimes it can be a contract issue, which makes the whole thing even more fucked up.
Yeah, but if it's a contract issue, that basically means that they've gone, yes, I want to sign this contract that allows me to promote NFTs.
Yeah. Well, if they say we'll give you this much money to promote it, yeah.
The other highlight for me was here's
probably Victor. They probably only sold 25. Yeah.
People started selling YouTubes as NFTs, like YouTube channels.
What?
Yeah.
You mean I can buy the PewDiePie channel?
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Someone has bought the Asmongold channel. Asmongold had no fucking idea.
I saw that he made a video on it. I haven't watched the video though. That's what it was about.
Someone literally made an NFT of his channel. Had no idea, and he was like, "Wait, someone's bought my channel." Here.
You could totally put his video on your stream and react to an Asmongold reacting to a video. That's your mega Twitch metagaming right there.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I watched the final couple of Barney episodes, but.
Good.
Did you watch some of the Asmongold commentary?
No.
Well, that's what you do next.
Top of the Barney icicle.
That's what you do next.
Where's the link to the Final Fantasy thing?
Twitch.tv/Final Fantasy 14.
Or YouTube's, whatever you want. Yeah.
It's not on YouTube. I looked.
It is. That's why I'm watching it now.
I'm literally watching it on YouTube right now.
I went to the Final Fantasy 14 YouTube channel and it wasn't there. I went back to Twitch where it was.
Where it was.
Well, it's offline now, so.
Well, see, here you go. This one's not offline. I can still hear the Final Fantasy music still playing. It's still going.
Not offline, but it's not currently doing anything.
Okay. Well, I mean, look, if you want to be, if you want to be in sync, yeah.
Optimistic to think it'll stay in sync.
Well, it'll be more in sync than Twitch and YouTube. Like,
I mean, this is gonna be great for me because they're gonna be saying shit that I have no idea about and don't care.
Yeah, there's a translator for that, Kexman.
I'm good.
Yeah, Kex, idiot.
I'm gonna be watching people getting so angry over shit I can't comprehend.
But what if people don't get angry and everyone's happy?
This is
that can't happen. They're MMO players.
You've never been in this environment before. Also,
Final
wait.
Fantasy 14 might be popular, but it could absolutely still fucking happen.
Also, wait. Where are you going to be seeing these people get angry?
In the chat that's right there next to it. That's.
Oh right, okay. Well, because I've got full screen, I'm not watching that. So.
Imagine not having like 9 monitors. What the fuck, man?
Well, unfortunately, no. I don't have 9 monitors.
How are you supposed to put your 9 NFTs up as wallpapers?
Oh, Nami says maybe they sold the YouTube Final Fantasy 14 channel as an NFT. That's why you couldn't see it, Dunkurk.
Oh!
That's why I could see it, because I have bought it.
Oh
I
shit!
now own Final Fantasy XIV.
Oh, you bat. How much?
Oh,
all. It's all. That was the cost. Okay. All. Jeez.
everything.
Apparently so. Oh my god.
Fuzzy walks up to me, he's like, Kexman, what did that cost to buy the Final Fantasy XIV channel? I lower my hood. Everything.
Oh my god, you lower your hood, but your beard's not there. Everything.
Tears streaming down my face.
Was it worth it? No. Just crying.
I do it and it cuts to an orange thing like at the end of Avengers and Farsi is there. Did you do it? Yes. What did it cost? Everything.
Oh. Kexman with no beard turns and looks at me. Perhaps I was too harsh on you.
Man, this music sucks.
Just has some like fucking weird epiphany because he has no beard anymore. Starts going through some weird stages.
Their music is weak in my stream process, so
You shave me bald, but don't take the beard. You should have gone for the beard.
That's where Kexman's true source of power lies. The infinity beard. You got your fingers tangled in his super soft tentacles. Is that on... Wait, on tentacles? Wait, what? Is it on the cat?
Hey, chat. Coleslaw, yes or no?
big yes.
Coleslaw.
Huge yes.
Do you want some coleslaw? I've never really had.
Ham and coleslaw.
Time to sell Kex's beard as an NFT. Oh, it could be done though, couldn't it? Someone could do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it and shred it.
Oh.
No, but that's the problem. You'd own a receipt that says you own my beard. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
I have the beard.
Yep. Oh
But
wait,
I've got
hold
the
on.
receipt.
Hold on.
I'd like
Now
to speak to the manager, Kexman. I have the receipt.
now I have a question. So if there's a picture of Kexman's beard, right? Because you need an image of some sort to see, right? And you buy it, and you buy it, right? And you've got the thing of the NFT. If he grows in and it gets longer and looks different, is it still the same beard? And do you still own it? Because that could be like, oh,
Yeah, because but the
That's the
NFTs
trick.
don't be an
You never
image.
owned it in the first place.
The NFTs don't have to be an image. It's data, right?
right.
So you could have it be a video.
Oh, here we go.
おはようござい
Time
ま
lapse
す。
of Kexman's beard.
Hello everyone. 第68回ファイナルファンタジー14プロデューサーレターライブをお
You
送
said
り
this
い
will be
た
closer
し
in
ま
sync.
す。
Your
Thank you very
stream
much
is
for
further
tuning
ahead
in
than
to
my actual
Final Fantasy
YouTube.
14 letter from the producer live number 68. 皆さんに自己紹介お願いします。Please introduce yourself, please.
Hi, my name is Naoki Yoshida, producer and director of Final Fantasy XIV.
God, that's
皆
weird
さんおはよう
hearing
ご
him
ざい
speak
ます。
English.
そしてこんばんはな人も多いですね。Final Fantasy XIV プロデューサー兼ディレクターの吉田です。よろしくお願いします。
Didn't realize who it was at the time.
そして本日進行を務めますコミュニティチームモルボルこと室内です。よろしくお願いします。My name is Toshio Murashi, also known as the Fox Clone.
See when we went down the escalator from the press floor, he was there.
I will do the MC stuff for today's live letter. はい、そして、本日はですね、本日の、プロデュ PLL も、日本語と英語のバイリンガル放送でお送りいたしますので、我らがあゆみさんがスクエニアメリカオフィスから入ってくださっております。So once again, today's letter live is fully
FF14 will be on the Game Pass
bilingual in both
alongside the Elder
Japanese and
Scrolls and
English.
World of Warcraft.
So we have a special member from Square Enix America office. あゆみさんです。おはようございます。
おはようございます。スクエアニックスアメリカの徳武あゆみです。通訳を務めさせていただきます。よろしくお願いします。Hello everyone, this is Aimi from the Square Enix Los Angeles office. I'm going to be supporting for the translations today.
Ah, she's in LA.
はい。で本日の
No, she's clearly in the
はです
same room
ね
for sure.
このセットアップをご覧になった方もいるかと思いますが、吉田さんが話したことは、あゆみさんが通訳してくださいます。で、私が喋ることは私が自分で、翻訳しながら進めていきますので、
Victor, that's
で
crazy,
対
by the
し
way.
て私からは大して重要な話は出ませんので、私のことを翻訳し忘れてるなというのはスルーしておいていただければと思いますのでよろしくお願いします。So today's setup is 吉田さん explain things in Japanese and then
Yeah, I
Aimi-san
bet you
will
have a
do
problem with
Yoshida-san's
using bed
voice
music
in
for a
English.
podcast that goes
Then I
nom
will
nom nom
translate
nom nom
myself.
nom 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 nom
はい、そして今日の PLL はですね、前半戦は、ファイナルファンタジー14の新たなる挑戦、次の10年に向けてということで、吉田さんからいろいろ
And
と説明
Speedy.
いただき
He
ま
did
した。
Rap Cat for an entire fucking podcast
休
episode.
憩挟みまして後半は、
I
ボーナス
remember.
戦を募集しました、
Just becomes
パッチ
background noise.
6.0 をプレイしてみての
Does not.
But it's
Q&A
still a bad
セッションをお送りしたいと思い
It's
ま
a
す。
bad thing.
So today's letter live has two major parts, and then first half is the kind of presentation by producer director Naoki Yoshida, which is where we are and where we are going for next 10 years. And then we have a taking break, and then latter half
Love it
is
if
the
they go
Q&A
to really
session
bad. I don't fucking
based
know.
on your gameplay.
Or for the next 10 years.
of 6.0.
I guess we'll-
Well, if he doesn't know, who
はい、
who
という
does?
ことで、
So I guess we'll probably make like
え
four more
ーっとですね
expansions.
私がこっちを見てるとき、
はい
こうなってるときは、皆
Russia
さんの
might end the
コメン
world,
ト
so-
を見てるときなので、今日こういうシチュエーションすごい多いと
We
思う
gotta
ので
continue as if it's gonna keep spinning.
ご理解ください。
So you might see me turning my head sometimes when I'm speaking, but I am actively looking at the
Well, that's a
comments that
mistake.
people are making as they watch the stream. So you may see me
You just
turn
watch your
this
ship
way,
and
but
get more and more
I am
tilted.
still participating. So just wanted to let you know.
まあちょっとね、日本のコメントでね、この手の通訳放送はテンポ悪いんだよなって言ってる人いるんですけど、まあグローバル全体でね、お届けしているので、吉田の長い話をですね、あゆみさん一生懸命ね、通訳してくれてるんで、そこはね、それを言われると我々ちょっと悲しくなるんで、
There's
そ
no
う
way.
いう
The speed they're
ま
moving
あ
at,
ファン
there's
フェ
no
ス
way.
のステージぐらいで
そうそう
思っ
ファンフェスです
て見てもらえると嬉しいか
Hard
な。
enough to follow one.
And we do see some comments about how translations kind of drag on the pace. It doesn't feel as quick. But Amy is here to try to facilitate communicating Yoshida's comments. It makes us sad if you're disappointed that it's in two languages. But perhaps if you look at it like a FanFest stage event
We're
where we
getting
have
triggered that it's
the
not-
Japanese and English, maybe that might help it make it more
Getting
fun.
triggered that it's been
コ
translated
メン
for
トで
Western
今日は
audiences.
6.1 はがっつりじゃないんですかっていうのもあるんですが、So we see some comments. Do we have any further updates for 6.1? So 6.1 がっつりってことだけはない。
Triggered.
そうですね、パッチ 6.1 の内容と紹介に関しては、
はい
3月4日
はい、4日です。
に、パッチ 6.1 特集パート1の PLL をやる予定なので、6.1 のまあでも今日ちょっと出ますけどね、6.1 の詳しいところはそっちに譲ります。
Are you alright to restream this on Twitch?
So yeah,
Yep, they said it's fine.
today's broadcast is not literally going to be just about 6.1. We may touch upon it, but then the details are going to be explained on another episode of the live letter on March the 4th. This is JST, but we will go into details at that timing.
March the
あと
4th
は
JST.
まあなんかこう
Yeah,
重大発
March the 4th
表的なねニュアンスで取られてる
Time
け
in
ど
Japan?
楽しく気楽に行くので皆さんもですね緊張せず気楽に今日は見てもらえると嬉しいです
I mean,
Japanese face.
I know they're like
And
12 hours
some
ahead,
people
but I
might be
still think
bracing
March
for a
the
very
4th is March
important
the 4th.
announcement when we talk about today's broadcast. But that's not
That's
the
August
intent.
17th
We would
for
love for you to just relax and just have fun with the broadcast.
面白いですよ。
なんかこういうこと言うたびにさよしやめんのみたいなの
Imagine being mad because the company wants to make sure you understand what's being said. I know, right?
いつだっけ
Fucking-
How dare they?
How dare they?
新情報発表会でさ、言ったばっかだよね。
TLDR
TLDR
6.1 is 2 weeks out.
そういう話じ
Oh,
ゃないんですよ。
that'd be lovely.
They're not making enough of an
And I
effort to
understand we were
translate
talking
it. It
about
should
like
be
the
more
future of
languages.
Final
Where's the
Fantasy
Klingon?
14, but every time we mention something
I
like
need
that,
this
people are like, oh
Klingonese.
no, is Yoshida going to quit? And no, I think I told us when we were doing our announcement showcase in February, it's like 14 is my life work. It's not like I'm going to just up and leave suddenly.
That'd be crazy.
もうそんなんで嘘
Walking
つ
away
きにな
from
る
a
の嫌だ
company
か
game that you've
ら。
spent your entire
なん
life.
だろうそのね、自分の去就をね、重大発表をしますみたいなね、ことは言わないですよ。
ちょっと
Fuck,
恥ず
what
かしい
MMO devs would do that?
I don't want people to be going around saying, "Oh,
Every
you're
MMO
such a
does
liar,"
that.
because I mean, I'm not the type of person who would make these kinds of like my
mean, pretty much,
personal
yeah.
announcements on a live stream.
I meant more recently with like things like
さあ、で
More
は、
Kaplan
行きましょうか、早速。前半大体ね、2時間ぐらい、後半も多分2時間ぐらい使うんじゃないかなと思います。なので、ご飯食べたりですね、今日土曜日なんで、
Still walked away from the games.
飲みながらとかでも全然いいので。
Medicine was long before all of it, though. Like long before. He was
So
far.
we're looking at least for the first part, we're looking at about 2 hours broadcast. And so just you're free to do like you have dinner or like
Oh,
eat
we're free to have
lunch,
dinner or lunch.
as you're
Good.
watching the
I
broadcast.
was
It is
worried
a
we weren't
Saturday,
allowed
so
to
if you
eat
want
during
to
this.
start drinking early,
Ah.
you're more than welcome
Ah,
to
2
do
hours.
so.
I'm gonna step out for a burger.
さあ行きましょう。では、画面切り替えてもらっていいかな。
お
はい。
Hello.
じゃあ早速いきますが、改めて今日お話しする内容のトピックおさらいしておきましょう。
No, that's a cloud.
Theris.
Okay, so jumping right in, let me go over the topics we will cover.
We've had discussions about that cloud on my stream, trust me.
で、まず一つ目はちょっとです
Yeah, it's a cloud. It's in
ね
the、way
まあ
of
14これまで
Everything, yeah, no, I had a big
Why is
rant.
that a topic?
11年
Why is
や
that
って
a
きて
topic?
いるので、まあちょっと振り返りを最初にね、
You know, just to get you,
皆さんへの
catch
感謝
up
も
with the
込め
last
て
10 years.
やりたいと思います。
It's because for people like Dunkurk who don't play the
First
story,
off,
this
of
this
course,
kind of
it's
gives
been
them
about
bullet
11
points.
years,
Basically,
to
if
be
you haven't seen
accurate,
the first
how
decade,
long
you're not going to
14
understand the
has been
second
going
decade.
on. So we'd like to kind of do a little bit of a retrospect, just convey our thanks to our players and look back on everything.
でまあそれを振り返った上でですね
Drinking time,
まあちょっとこの先じゃあさらに
Drink
もう
every time they say
10年
Ohio.
は僕続けたいと思ってるんで、まあこの先
Bring
10
me
年
a
さ
lot
らに
then.
14を発展させていくために、まあ新しい挑戦やっていきますよと
Drink
い
every
ろ
time
い
they
ろ
speak
そこに
Japanese.
ついてまあどんなことやっていくのかというのをお知らせしたいと思います。
And then once we
Drink every
do
time is
look
not a
back
Japanese word
on
for the word they're
our
saying.
past, then we look forward to the next 10 years. Because as I mentioned,
And we
I
go
would
to the
love
future.
continue
14
having Final Fantasy
classic.
14 for yet another 10 years. So
We've already
there
said
are many different
absolutely.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Why not
no
Blizzard?
one wants
to do
that.
in
Not-
order
not the way
to
Blizzard said no,
continue
but in a
expanding Final
no,
Fantasy 14. Many challenges that we
absolutely
want to
under
take
the
on. So I
circumstances.
want to thank
Unreservedly
some
no.
of those
People
items
were asking
in
for classic.
today's
Wow, they are
broadcast.
not asking for
で
classic
こ
Final
こまで
Fantasy
いったら
14.
一回休憩
Some
を挟
people
んで
were. They were like,
後
oh, can we have-
半後半として
Yoshi
3 つ
just
目
said
パッチ 6.0 行月のフィナー
They
レ
were gonna say there were some people that say, oh, can we have 1.0 Final Fantasy 14? And like everyone else who played it were like, you don't want that. No. Like,
And
do
then
not
once we
want
do
that.
that, we will have a break in between, and then it'll go into the latter half
Ohio
of the
or
show,
Ohio?
where we kind of
couldn't
asked
jump.
the players, "What did you think?"
No, you
after
couldn't jump, no.
playing 6.0, and so we will do a bit of an Endwalker
Remember, you
Q&A.
can't jump.
あと10年か吉田リビングで
Jumping is like the language of it.
コメントがあったりね
How do you say yes to opposite faction people?
We're seeing comments like, "Oh, 10 more years, huh? Is Yoshida going to kick off his Living Dead?"
まああったよね確かにねよ
Living
吉田の
Dead.
量産を開始しましたです
お
とか
The Zombies confirmed.
吉田が誕生したので紹介しますとかそういうのじゃ
Yorzy and
書かれてましたよね
Uh,
But yeah, I think I've seen comments similar to that, and like
there you
people
go.
saying, "Oh,
That
we
cloud will
have
stay there for
mass
10 years faster,
manufactured
but the
Yoshida
camera will just move
clones."
further and further out to add
私
continents
はもう
wrong
完了
about.
してますよって言われた
そう
Yeah, then I say I've done already.
They said that, like when Yoshi-P was talking about
Ooh,
originally when
transition.
they wanted it to be like
Could put white
ま
on
ずは
white.
まあ正確にはね11年なんですけど大きくくくってまあ
That was a
10年ここまで
bad
皆さん
design
とね
choice.
入ってきたのをちょっと振り返っていきたいと思
all
いま
those
す
years ago where Yoshi-P sat down the developers and
Okay,
said
so
to play WoW to
jumping
get used to it. The next
into
10 years is
the
literally just
timeline
patch for
here,
patch. WoW.
of course,
Just in
I
the Final Fantasy
officially
14
it's 11 years, but like we'll call this the 10 years
Not
of
even in the
Final
universe.
Fantasy 14.
No, they
Death
can
Wind
ask.
breaks out.
God.
まあいろいろありましたねまあ2010年サービスを開始してその12月に運営体制ね全部
Are they going to go from the start where it's like when the game was fucked and I came along as the savior and saved
So
everyone?
first,
I've seen this YouTube video.
2010 was when it all started. Many things that happened caused us to sort of reconsider the development structures, and there was a
Reconsider.
lot of changes that were
Reconsider,
made
yeah.
in order to kind of
Sack the guy that
reboot
was in
the
charge.
title. So this is when
No, sorry,
I joined
not
in.
sack him.
Yoshida
Move him to
joined
Final
into
Fantasy
the
15.
project.
で
Hang on.
2021年のあ違う
The official service
2011年の
from
10
1.0
月14日に
A
まあ
year
14日が
later
延期がいいだろうっていうの
to
で
like,
申請
Yeah,
Yeah.
not even a year later they were like,
Yeah,
what are you doing?
because unlike fucking WoW, where they're like, no,
And then
no, don't worry, hold on, we'll
2011,
fix it.
October
We'll totally
14th,
fix it. We'll fix it. Oh
14th
wow,
must
looking
bring us
back
good
2 years
luck.
ago, we
And
really
that's
should
when
have
we
probably
announced
changed
that we
something.
are going
They
to
went, no, this
have,
is fucked. We're gonna do
Final
something now.
Fantasy 14 Reborn.
海外の皆さん詳しいよね
Yeah.
あゆみさんもインタビューにいてくれたと思うけど、
A year and a month later, they announced they were going to redo it.
復活9番の
They've
サーバー
already
を復
started
活
to
させる
work.
気ありませんかって、クラシックファイナルファンタジー14やる気ありませんかって、ナイトメアって答え
Do
た
you
や
not
つ
remember all
みんな
the
覚え
like
てる
stuff for
ね。
that?
ナイ
Like
トメア、
the
ナイトメアってすげ
fucking
え言ってる
producers
コメ
went
ント
out on stage and apologized
I
and
love
bowed
how
down.
the comments from the
Nope.
West are I love how they know all these details, and I'm sure
It's
Amy
big
had
news
set
'cause,
into
like,
the interviews as well, but people were asking about,
people
oh,
were
are
like,
you
why
going to
aren't
make
Blizzard doing
an
this
FF14
for a
1.0
fucking
classic?
12-month
Like
cat
what
Oh,
classic
they're
did
talking about the
theirs?
classic
And
again.
Yoshida
No.
answered nightmare, and so people were calling the
one of
time of
reasons that is one,
1.0
it's a
is
culture thing
nightmare.
in Japan,
It's awesome.
and also
でまあ
the
sheer
Blizzard
fucking
2012年
hubris.
の
That's what you're
11
trying to
月
say.
11日にですね、時代の終
Yeah,
焉トレーラー公開とともにですね、一旦申請の準備のために Q14 のサービスを、終了させていただいてます。
And of course, in November 11th of 2012,
They didn't even
we
give it
titled it The
a
End of an
month
Era,
of
and we sort
1.0
of
services
closed
still
the
not done.
service for
Shut it
the original version of Final Fantasy XIV.
まあ、9番からねやってくださってる方も
Yeah, the
結構
eighth
い
Umbrella,
る
yeah.
し、9番の捉え方って結構まちまちだとは思うんですけど、9番のラスト付近はそれはそれでまた独特のゲームデザインの MMO として結構ね
I watched it, JC.
好きだった
understand that
面白くなったんだよって言ってくれる人たちもたくさんいて、まあ、僕らシャットダウンするのを決めながらも作ってたところに対してそういうね評価をもらってたりするのは
somebody, yeah,
とてもありが
No,
た
do
い
you
こ
know
とな
what?
ので、僕らも
I
す
feel
ごいね
confident
実は
saying
励み
there
に
probably
なってました。
It's one of those
Of
rare
course,
examples
people who
where
have been
I
playing
don't think there's going to be even
since
that
the
one person.
original
Yeah, maybe.
1.0 may have their different opinions about how the game had played.
Apart from
But there
maybe
were
Satan.
people who thankfully acknowledged how 14 was starting to shift, and they did take notice about how the game design was unique, despite we were looking to sunset the original version. And so it was wonderful that people acknowledged that, and that was very encouraging for us as a team.
ちなみに9番から今日視聴してくださってる方で Q14 からやってるよって方、
Think Yoshi P ever
どう
wakes
で
up
す
in
か
a
手
cold
を挙
sweat
げ
and
て
thinks it's 2011 again?
So if I could have people in the comments,
Joke's on you for
show
thinking
by
Yoshi
show
P
of hands,
sleeps.
I don't know how you raise your hands, but like anybody who's been playing since 1.0, the original Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, how many hands
we'd
will
love
there
to
be?
see who's been with us since then.
おめっちゃ
Hey,
いい
me.
な。
Boy, there's a lot.
I watched a YouTube
thank
video
you
the
very
week it
much.
came out. Does that
す
count?
ごいありがたい。
No, yes, maybe.
That's amazing. Thank you
Ah.
guys.
まあ
Can you
ここから
imagine
ね
if
あと
A Realm
10年
Reborn
お
had
互い
been the
健康に
launch
気をつけ
date of
て
Final Fantasy?
楽しんでいきましょう。
But
Like,
yeah,
the game
we're
would have
looking
straight
forward
up
to the
won
next
the
10 years. So
MMO
yeah,
arms
let's
race.
all take care of our health and keep going. That's awesome.
That extra.
で、2013年ですね、
Extra
ベ
year
ー
and a
タテストやりながら、
Really put them behind
2013年8月27日についに新生オルセア
I don't think it would have.
正式サービス
Mob
開
came out.
始することができました。
No, I don't think it would have.
So moving on, 2013, we start our beta testing for A Realm Reborn, and then August 27 of the same
I
year,
think it would have,
we
because
were able to relaunch as A Realm Reborn.
it's
振り
during
返ると
the
ですね、
cataclysm
2011年の
fucking year of
3
hell.
月ぐらいから
うん
一気に新生14の設計だけ
if it came out as
5人ぐらいで設計をスタートして
like halfway through that
2011年
cataclysm
の
dry
6月
spell,
から
we would have pulled a lot of players.
6人のプログラマーがコードを書き始めたのを覚えてるので、実質そこから2
And
年
then
2
when
ヶ
people
月
started
で
falling out of mob,
新生リリースしてるので、
I
もうちょっと驚
I
異
don't
的
think I would have
今振り
appreciated
返る
this as
と
much if I'd started way back when.
And looking back,
Just for A Realm
so
Reborn, I
it
don't
was
think it would have grabbed me.
2011 in March. We started at least doing the framework, just the design structure first, and it was a very small team that worked on it. It was 5 people who started on the base framework, and then starting June of that same year, 2011, we had 6 programmers starting to write code. And considering it took about 2 years and 2 months to relaunch, that's just incredible.
で、念願だったですね
Then just how to learn how to
カンフェスっていうのを2014年の10月からですね、スタートすることができまし
We still
た。
haven't.
今でも覚えてます。
That's the secret of programmers.
And of
It
course,
shows for Realm
by
Reborn.
You never
2014 October, we were able to hold our very first fan festival. That was something that we really wanted to do.
初めてやった北米のファンフェスの基調公演でステージに上がった時の大歓声でですね、もう足が震えて
I still remember it today. The first time we did our fan festival, and we started out in the North America region. And when I took the stage to do my keynote presentation, and just the cheer that I received from the audience, man, my legs were shaking when I was up there.
で初の拡張であるヘブンズワード、2015年の6月にリリースして、その後の8月に、全世界累計登録者数が500万人を突破したと。
And then next, we were able to launch our first ever expansion pack, Heaven's Word, in 2015 June. And then soon
Global
after,
registration
we
player
reached
total
5
exceeds 16
million
million when they release Shadowbringers. Yeah, Shadowbringers is
で
fucking
この辺り
big.
はですね、我々開
But I
発チーム
get
もですね、
registered players
こ
and
ないの
active
こない
players
の
is a
っ
different
て言われ
metric.
て、よしやっちゃうぞって言って、
I want
きっ
active
きり
player
な
numbers, man.
のをやったらです
No
ね、
one
いや
does
難し
active
すぎんだ
players
ろ
though.
ってなってですね、我々も
RuneScape
いろ
literally
いろ
has a
な失
counter
敗
on
を
the
繰り
front
返し
page
つ
of
つ
how
です
many
ね
people are currently logged
今
into the
に
game.
つながってる
No
本当
one
重要な時期だと思い
does
ま
active
す、
players,
ここは。
It's right there
But
at the
this
top.
is around the time when people were starting to clamor for higher difficult content, and the dev team got so excited about, oh yeah, you
Currently
want difficult? And so
82,550.
we gave you a really tough
That's a bit, man.
content, and people started complaining now about, oh no, this is too difficult, Yoshida, this is too difficult. And so we were trying to find that balance. It was trial and error trying to get to that nice balance. But I think it was really important that we're making that conversation.
あれでね、僕は人生の格言の一つをね、
Stormblood
学ん
did
だん
kick
です
it
よ
up a little bit on the difficulty, but
プレイヤーの皆さん
Shadowbringers
には
really jumped
い
up
やちょっと簡
on
単だ
like
ったなっ
general
て言われ
dungeon
るぐらい
difficulty,
が
where you can't
ち
just
ょうどいい
sleep
んだ
through
な
it.
と。
That's not been
And
my experience with any dungeon. in
then
this
it was
video
then
game.
that I learned this very
Again,
valuable
congrats on getting
lesson,
carried.
which is I think it's
I'm the
best to keep
tank.
the difficulty where the players would walk
Congrats on
out of
getting
it
carried.
saying, that was pretty easy.
You just
We've
move out of the back.
グレンのリベレータ
We've
ー
established that
を
Dunkurk
発
Farniro
売したのが
is the best PvP
2017年
player.
6月で、
Not
まあ、
best
この
PvP
辺りから
player.
ようや
Just
く
all around
こ
not
う
the
バトル
best
コンテンツ以外のそのもう14の世界に住むみたいなことをより具体化していけるようになったのがこのぐらいの時期で、まあそれがね、功を奏してですね、登録者数がまあこの時
First year we
点で
watched you,
1000万人
We
突
don't know what
破
a fucking prime number is.
And then,
It's got
of
nothing to do with
course,
rating.
Stormblood released
literally a
in
raid mechanic.
2017
It's on that
June,
one boss.
and
Never
we
again.
started
There's only
looking
one
at
reason. There's a reason why there's only
various
on one
other
boss.
types of content aside from
Ever.
battle and combat.
So far.
Content that would involve the feeling of living in the world of
Could you
Final
imagine
Fantasy
Dunkurk in
XIV.
Farsi
And I
when he tried
think
to tank
that
Mogu
really
Shandogs?
struck a
He'd have
chord
had a
with
fucking
people.
heart
People
attack.
were resonating
Well, maybe
with
Shandogs
it,
was simple.
which
No.
thankfully got us to our
No.
registered
Heroic.
player number up to
25
14 million players.
思い出されるグレンのリベレーター初日
Where
の
you
ラウバーン
three
I love
tanks
how he
juggling
says
4 dogs.
I love how he
And
said
I
they were
still
simple and
remember when
immediately we were like, no,
Stormblood
no,
first
no.
launched, Rauban Extreme in the Niners.
ありましたね。
I
think we all
is it
remember
Hagara
that.
and fucking Dragon Soul?
まあ、
And the
あの
Nexus
失敗があって
bit,
ね、今の安定したキューイングシステムがあったりするからね。
Fuck, heroic version of that.
But I mean, with
Get
even
outta here with your
that
Dragon
failure,
Soul.
we learned from it,
Why-
and
why
we were
did we
able
wipe-
to
oh,
build
because Farseer
a
doesn't know how
much
to
better
stand in a
queuing
fucking line.
system.
そしてですね、2018年になると、全世界登録者数が1000万人を
Method stack.
1400万人を突破して、2019年には、1600万人を突破と。ありがとうございます。
So far, so we've seen you in Theatre of Pain, for fuck's sake.
So I'm sorry.
Yeah,
this
when
is
I was
where we
sleep
hit,
deprived, yeah.
14 million is
Prime example.
2018 August, and then
Not prime
moving
numbers to be
on,
confused
we reached 16 million players by 2019 May. So thank
Are you
you
always
so
sleep
much
deprived,
for
then?
all
Is
the
that your
players
trick,
that are
like
staying
your
with
secret?
us.
On the Warcraft radio channel, there is literally 3 different
そ
fucking
し
clips
て
that
続
just
けて
say
ですね、
comics.
2019年に、漆黒のヴィランズを発売し、その年末にはですね、
That
全
wasn't
世界
Theatre
累
of
計
Pain,
登録
that
者
was
数が
fucking
1800万人を、
Plague- oh, no,
突破となりました。
Necrotic Wake.
And
That's
moving
the one.
on, we released Shadowbringers in
Still quite like that
2019, and soon after, we surpassed 18 million registered players.
18 million. Let's go.
数字に関して言うと、単純に数字だけ
No
を
one does
アイ
active
コン
users
だけ
Dunkurk. How many
見ていくと
times must I say
そ
this?
の
But if they swung
なん
their
ていうの
live
増え
user
るペース
dick,
っていうのがばらついてるようにまあ見えるの
Wait,
かもしれないんですけど
that would be pretty impressive.
実は 体験したことの
If they
ある
drop it
人
on
が
the table
増え
that
れ
they've
ば
got
増える
10
ほど
million active players
新
right
規が
now,
当然減るんですよね。
はい
パイ
Like,
が決まってる
Blizzard
と
would
こ
be
ろから
forced to
新しい人を
put out
呼
their
ばなきゃい
numbers.
けないので
No, they wouldn't.
だからここまでの数字になってるのにさらに数百万増やしていくっていうこと自体はとてもすごいことで、これは本当ね、まあ、開発運営チームの努力もそうなんですけど、マーケティング PR チームがコミュニティの皆さんと一緒に
Oh, don't
なっ
worry,
て
you'll be in there 10 minutes
達
before you
成
realize
して
what a
きてる
mistake it
数
is
字
and
なの
log
で
out.
本当にこれはね誇らしい数字だと思ってます。
I don't think.
Looking at the numbers, it might
don't really
seem
have 10
like
million.
there's no
I'd probably
real
say
like
six,
nothing of
6 to
note.
7.
Oh yeah, the numbers are just increasing. But if you consider this, if we have a certain number of people already playing the game, and if we have a single pie that we're taking
pie.
numbers out of, like you would expect the numbers to start going down, but it's interesting that we see more and more players join us even after all these years. We are seeing millions
But again,
signing up.
it's registered.
So,
I've
of course,
had to
I really
register
want to
3 fucking
acknowledge
times for
the
this game because their account
development
recovery system
operations
is
team, but also
ridiculous.
the marketing
Do you reckon
and
they're
PR
also
teams
counting the
working
registered players
with
trials?
the community
Yeah, 'cause it'll
to
be
kind of
new
promote the
registered
title
accounts.
and get the word out. So I'm very proud of their achievements.
So of course they saw a spike when they
そ
put
して
fucking Heaven's Word
2021
onto
年
the、trial accounts.
去年ですね、12月2日にはですね全世界
Like, WoW would see
累
a
計登
spike
録
if
者
they
数
put
が
everyone up
2500万人
to
を突破し、ちょっと
BFA
昨日の
on the
数字とか
trial.
は見てないですけど、まだ全然まだ上がってってると思うので、で12月7日ですね、すいません、2週間ほどちょっと遅延をさせていただくことにはなってしまいましたが、行月のフィナーレを発売して、ハイデリンゾディアーク編完結というところまでこぎつけて
Oh,
こられ
said
たなと。
Hydrant Zodiac.
Of course, 2021, which is last year, we surpassed
Fuck off,
25 million
2021 wasn't last year.
registered
Fuck off.
players. I did not see yesterday's numbers or like as of yesterday's numbers, but I do understand that our numbers are still increasing. And then afterwards,
Their power grows.
I know we had to delay the
again, it's
release by
registered.
about 2 weeks.
Like,
Again,
I wouldn't read
apologies
anything into
for
that.
the delay, but we were able to release Endwalker, and finally we were able
could
to
have 25
conclude
million players
the
registered.
overarching story of
50 million
Hydaelyn
of them
and
could have just gone,
Zodiac.
nah, not for me, and not played it again.
まあ長かったようで僕は結構あっという間の11年
Could have.
で
Probably
した。
didn't.
でも本当にね、世界中のプレイヤーの皆さん、
Again,
光の
that's why I
選手の皆さん
don't pay much attention
メディアの皆さんもね、関係各社の皆さ
Well,
んに
Prime
本
Investors
当に
do.
ものすごくこんなに支えてもらうタイトルは他にないだろうと思うぐらい支えていただいて
So, I mean, that's what matters, I guess.
改めて本当に感謝をお伝えしたいと思います。ありがとうございます。
And it feels like a long time,
That's
but
about 10
man,
minutes.
these 11 years went by very quickly for me. And all of our Warriors of Light, our
Warriors of
players,
Darkness.
members of the media, all of our supporting partner companies as well. There were just so many people that supported us throughout this all. So I do want to take this opportunity to convey my gratitude from the bottom of my heart. So I sincerely thank everybody.
はい。まあ、あとは本当ね、開発チームにも、本当に厳しいスケジュールでやってきてて、まあ、実は拡張パッケージそのものの開発期間って1年とか、下手すると、
Yeah,
1
if
年
you
切
go
って
by
たりするん
players
で、
registered,
まあ、本当に頑張ってきても
I
ら
think WoW
い
is
ました。
currently estimated to have about 110 million registered
And I
players.
also want to acknowledge the development team
Yeah.
as well. They
Like,
were always working
I bet
against
they're
a
also
very
counting, like, the banned
harsh
players.
schedule.
But yeah.
And even
And the bots,
developing
even though
some
they
of
got
our
rid of
expansion packs. Sometimes we have
Oh, yeah,
only about a
registered
year or
Yeah.
even less than a year to get
Yeah,
through all of
registered
the
them.
tasks that needed to get done. So I really want to show my appreciation to them as well.
さて、ではこれを踏まえてですね、ここまで歩んできたその11年、9番の状態を考えれば、これ以上ないぐらいの成功をさせていただいたと思ってます。ここはあんまり言葉を隠さずに成功できてると思ってるので、それでいいと思ってるんですけど、まあここまではある意味もう過去になったので、ここからさらに次の10年また挑戦を続けていきたいと思います。
And looking at the trajectory here and the path we've walked down, I think I want to consider this a success from what we had taken and what
I
stage
should
it was
fucking
in when we
say
had
so.
first taken
Christ.
on the project and to bring it to where it is now. I'm not ashamed to declare it. It might be a little awkward in the Japanese, but I believe it is a success, and I think it's a good thing that we've gotten here. But now that we have gotten this far, all of this is now in the past, and so we want to look to the future. We want to see what kind of challenges.
Taking it from a game that was meant to die and turning it
と
out
い
to
うわ
this.
け
Like,
で
it's
2つ目
impressive.
のセクションである14の新しい挑戦と題してですね、まあ、今後どういうことをやっていくよというのをお伝えしていきたいと思います。
So, for the second part of this presentation, as you see, it is entitled Newfound Futures.
Now
So,
the
I would
extra
like to
stuff we don't
discuss
know.
what we are intending to do.
まずですね、
Where's that place?
僕としてはです
Charlie.
ね、社長からやめろって言われるか、
It's a
まあ
new
やめろ
city.
って言われても抵抗すると思うんですけど、
You,
開発
you
チーム
go
の
there
一部
at the
が
start
や
of
めろ
Endwalker.
って
Have
言
you
われ
played
るか、
Endwalker?
死ぬか
Happy Endwalker, mate.
You, no, you clearly haven't because you have to go here for the story.
I went to the moon.
You just fucking...
You got
Can't
no
went
idea.
to the moon, mate.
Don't get
me
paying
personally,
so little
Tsushida,
attention, he doesn't even remember the fucking
unless the
cities he goes to,
CEO
or the
says
places
Tsushida
he
is
goes
hasn't
to
even
leave,
played it.
and even then, I
How does
think I'm
that
going to
fountain
fight him. Or if like the development team, the operations team
Yeah, if
want
you
to
played
kick me
Dunkurk, you
out,
know.
or if I,
You don't.
God forbid,
Yeah, you
die.
do. How do you know?
burn
You
the
skip
red
The
everything.
only extreme
No, you
cases
don't.
I would even
No,
consider
you only read
leaving
nothing.
the 14 project. I want to continue working on Final Fantasy 14.
So otherwise you wouldn't ask this
your
stupid
continued
question, would
support
you?
will definitely be
I love how
appreciated.
Yoshi basically said, I either
という
die
わけでです
or I
ね
keep doing
ま
this.
ず今回その10年さらにこう
Same.
14を
Okay.
せっかくねここまで日本初のそのサービスでこの規模まで来れるってなかなかあることじゃないの
Shit,
で
warlords.
この先の10年に向けてまずは 7.0 をめがけて、新しいことに挑戦していこうと思ってます。
So of course, with this title, and considering that this game was launched from a Japanese development studio and being able to expand to this global
Is the game
scope,
Japanese?
it's a rarity, I think. And so my next goal, my future goal is now looking at 7.0 and leading up to that, what can we do?
コメントが7.0 って言ったかで
大丈夫大丈夫もうシナリオ会議の
Did you
1回
say
目や
that's
ったから
the order?
合宿やったから
あ
7.0 はやるよ
People are already speculating about, oh no, 7.0 confirmed? Well, I mean, we are already talking about scenario for 7.0. I'm not afraid to say that we do intend on doing a
7.0 is
7.0.
confirmed.
まずここに向けてちょっとコンセプトを話をさせてもらいますまずその一つ
Well,
目
they
が
could have
こちらになります
changed it and,
Oh,
like,
hang on. What's this?
Now, that being said, I do want to establish what my thinking is and the concept behind what we're trying to do leading
Yes,
up
let
to
us into your brain.
7.0. And this is
put
the
more
first
focus on the
point.
multiplayer.
まあこれ具体的にどういうことっていうのはこの後ちゃんと、お話ししようと思います
And of course, I will go into detail as to what this exactly means.
そしてですね 7.0 に向けて、チャレンジとしてですねこちら、
Oh, the
第
game's
一次
first
グラフ
graphical
ィック
update.
スのアップデートの準備
Ooh.
開発っていうのをやっていきます
And then next, again, leading up to
Unreal 5
7.0,
confirmed.
and one of the challenges that we want to take on is our first graphical update, at least the preparation and the development for it.
まあなんで第一次ってついてるかっていうのも後でねこの項目の掘り下げでちょっとお話ししようと思います
And of course, when we dive into each of these different points, I will touch upon why we are calling this the first graphical update.
まあ一応先に言っとくコメントが結構多いんで
Yeah, they got a lot of shit.
7.0 で
Yeah, yeah.
PS4 が遊べなくなるってことはないです、それはないのでお約束しておきます
I do want to clarify though, because I am seeing a lot of comments wondering about this. This does not necessarily mean that we are ceasing the support for PS4 as of 7.0. So I do want to clear that out first.
Fucking PlayStation 1
そしてですね今日3つ目、せっかくなのでパッチ 6.x シリーズでどんなことをやっていくかというのもお知らせします
And a roadmap.
And the third
Nice.
point, I mean, since we are here, I would like to
Which
take the
road, like
opportunity to
Tokyo
cover
or
what
Los
we are
Angeles?
planning to do throughout the 6.x
Whichever's
series
built
as a
better.
sort of roadmap.
は
Neither.
いでは各項目、詳しくよりお伝えしていこうと思います
I want after the
diving into the details.
I want after this finishes to Blizzard suddenly do a live video and it's just Ian has a coasters and he goes 10.0.
まずコンセプトの一つ目ですね。一人でもみんなでも遊
Oh no,
べ
they
る
made more
RPG へ、まあ、さらなる
10.0
進
player
化をしてい
has
きますと。
items and furniture drop from all raids and
So our
dungeons.
first concept,
Ever.
an even better RPG,
Boom, World of
alone
Warcraft
or with
suddenly
friends.
top played MMO all time.
これ
It's literally like
ま
the
あ
Captain Grim
何
bit
か
where
と
the
いう
whole
と、
crowd
まあ、
is
よく
screaming.
字のことなんですけど、そのファイナルファンタジー14、一応ジャンルとしては MMORPG って呼ばれてます。
So, I mean, it is what it says, of course, but yes, I understand that Final Fantasy XIV as a game genre would be categorized as an MMORPG.
Yes, that's what it is.
そこでですね、まあ僕この11年ファイナルファンタジー14
How
を
about
やって
adding a
き
little bit more of
て
that
世界
MMO
中
in
の
there
こ
for
うプレイ
us?
ヤーの皆さんとイベントだったりこう
Yeah, 'cause Kex hates that
まあ
RPG.
ファンフェスも含めてですけど
It's the
本当たく
worst
さんのゲーマーの人たちとこう話をしてきました
It gets in
And
the
of
way
course,
of the MMO.
throughout the 11 years of doing Final Fantasy XIV, we did various events, gaming events, including Fan Festival, and I had the opportunity to speak with the different gamers.
Gamers.
そこでですね、あとそのマーケティングチームに市場調査とかをしてもらって、まあこれね定期的に拡張のたびにやってるんですけど、やっぱりこう
Yes, this game would be categorized
そ
by
こ
the
で
game
出
that
て
it
くる
is.
答え
Yes,
っていう
Victor,
のが
correct.
まあなかなかブレイク
Turns
ス
out
ルー
we
できない
built
な
an
というのがあったり
MMORPG when we
し
set
ま
out
す
to build an MMORPG.
And of course, I would have my marketing teams perform
Fuck.
market research as well. And this is something we regularly do when we start to plan for upcoming expansion packs. And with the information that we receive, and there's always like a question that we never seem to find a way to break through.
2つあって一つは
He's like, I speak to people at
ファイナルファンタジーシリー
FanFest
ズ大好きなんだよ
and
すごいファン
make
なんだ
research for the next
全部
expansion.
やってるよ
Blizzard,
ただし
we
11
give you
と
what you want,
14
you
以外
fucking
で
like it.
っていうのがめちゃくちゃ
Give me
悔
what
しい
we want.
So there's actually two, and one of them is we see there's a lot of players that love Final Fantasy, and many that claim they've played all of the Final Fantasies except for 11 and 14, which is very frustrating.
まあ11もね今かなりアップデートをかけて
I know, that's
かなり
been to double down on the solo
大部分ね
play.
ソロで遊べるように快適にしてますが14は
Hold
さ
on
らに
now.
その先
Gonna
行
end
き
up
たい
with
と思ってます
SWTOR.
And of course, we are paying
With the
attention to
shittiest
Final
storyline.
Fantasy 11 players as
You
well.
see, he's
We've
paying
made
attention to Final
various
Fantasy 11.
updates. I think it has
Fucking
become
bold.
very solo friendly
Those
recently.
people are insane.
But with Final Fantasy 14, we want to go beyond that.
あとはこうもう一つはですね
Academia
オンラインなんだよねめんどくさい人と遊ぶの嫌なんかこう
Final Fantasy
人
11
間関係作るの
crossover
嫌
or
っ
14.
ていうのがねやっぱりナンバーワンなんですよねそのプレイをしない理由っていうとこ
They
ろ
just
で
take the rate.
They're bringing back that boss that takes 24
The
hours.
second point we
But
are
this
trying
time
to
there's four of
reach a
them.
breakthrough is people who comment about, oh, online play, I don't want to deal
People are
with
the
having
worst,
to play
it's
with
true.
other people. I don't want to develop relationships online. And that's actually a very large reason, if not the number one reason, many players kind of hesitate playing 14.
だから10年かけて MMORPG っていうジャンルじゃなくて一人でもみんなでも遊べる RPG っていうジャンルにしたいと14を
No, but he's talking about people that
So what I
specifically
want
want
to
to
do
play
here
every
is
Final Fantasy
spend
game.
the next 10 years and break out of
Shit.
that MMORPG category. I want this to
Oh, no.
be an RPG that can be enjoyed alone or with friends.
まずなので、7.0 でまでの間
So I guess I'm
フェ
going
イ
back
ス
to
システム
hardcore
の
raiding
大
and
規模アッ
WoW.
プデートっていうのをやっていきます
It's the only path forward, apparently.
Perfect time.
So,
1.2's coming out.
as a lead up to
I'm gonna just start from
7.0 or
scratch at
until
level
that
10. You can play all the
time, we
content
will
in like 3
continue to
hours.
make
It's fine.
updates to the trust system.
I mean, that's all it took for shit.
パッチ 6.1 から 6.5 までの5つのメジャーパッチで
Also, you can't- there's no way
全
they can
メイン
be able to
クエ
play
ス
all
ト
the
必須
content every
ID
hour,
と
I can
4
fucking
人
guarantee
を
that.
Yeah,
の
it's
個
time
別線
gated.
を全てフェイス対応します
Exactly.
As it says here,
Joke's on
trust
you,
compatibility
Hey,
for all
not jokes on me.
scenario
You can play
actions
Endwalker.
and four-player
Dunkirk says it. That's
trials to
what,
be
how long it
added,
took to do Endwalker,
in
but he wasn't
patch
restricted on it. At least he could
6.1
finish it the way he
through
wanted.
6.5.
まあ順次なのでね、パッチ例えば 6.2 とかを見ると
I
中
don't
途半
think
端なとこ
jokes on
ろ
you
ま
is
で
the
しか
right
対応
term.
されてないとかいうことが
Joke's
ある
on
可能
you.
性が高いんで
He's
すけ
time
ど
gating.
Jokes on
そ
everyone.
れにね
Nobody
怯えていると
wins.
いつまで経ってもできないので全部一気には不可能なの
So
で
trust
もう
is
なの
the
で
trusts are
この
going to all main
6.1から
dungeons and
6.5
scenarios.
つまり
Okay.
7.0 までの間を
Or
次
main
に
scenario
飛び上がる
dungeons.
ために
So not
もう
all
ど
of
んど
them,
ん
just
順
the
次
main
やっていく
scenario.
と
Okay.
いう期間に当てさせ
Fuck is
てください
trust?
It's where you take the NPCs,
And
like the
so,
player
Yeah,
characters.
of
Like
course,
the
these are
Scions can
going
go
to
with you into
be
the dungeons, for example.
incremental
You know how Switora did the ability to do
implementation,
like
and
flashlights
so you
and
might
shit
look
solo,
at
but
say
with
patch
your
2 point
companions?
something and 6.2, and you might notice that maybe not all of the dungeons have
Yeah, some of
been
them are.
supported
Okay.
with the trust system compatibility. But if we
All of
are
them,
afraid
like
to
in Endwalker are. That's what I did.
make progress and be just in the middle of work in a certain major patch update, we won't be able to make
Wait, if that's what you did,
progress. I
then
think
you
it's
wouldn't be
impossible to do
against
everything
the more
at
solo
once.
play
So we
focus.
are trying to address this as
you
we can,
misunderstand.
and
I did
we're
that purely
looking at
because
this
the
as a
queue times were
preparation
longer than the
for
button it took to press.
7.0, and so we would like to ask for
Okay.
your understanding
And what if
as
they still
we
were?
lay these foundations.
They aren't though.
その第一弾となるパッチ
The only reason I
6.1
did
で
that
は
is because
新
the
生
queue
オ
time
ル
was
ゼ
going
ア
to
編
get
の
annoying
うち
last for the game.
2.0 範囲をすべて
Lasting for the
対
game,
応しま
can't
す
last for the game if the game stops you with
So
queue.
the first implementation, patch 6.1,
Oh, so you can do it in a Realm
will
Reborn as well
make
now.
a Realm Reborn, and this
okay.
is just patch 2.0.
Wow, you
range,
can go and kill
and the
good King Migo.
scenarios
Nope,
do
he's
the
an operation. You can
become
go
trust
kill
compatible.
そしてですね
Sestasha.
それに伴って一部初期のですね
my
メインクエ
biggest
スト
problem
ID
with
と
some of
か
that is like, oh,
当
it's
面戦も
basically single
リニュー
player
アルします
RPG, single player RPG, single player RPG, then it grinds
And
to
then
a halt whilst you
further
queue waiting for
improvements
4
will be made to some low-level main
I didn't grind to a
scenario
halt.
dungeons
Mine was-
and
mine was pretty right.
trials.
でちょっと注意なんですけど蒼天のイシュガルドに入ってからの8人透滅戦ストーリー上に出てくる
Improvements
あれら
made to
はちょ
level
っとやっぱり
scenario
コストを全見積も
dungeons
り
and
したんです
trials.
け
Can you
ど
do
ど
it
う
to the
しても
story
こ
as
う
well?
6.1 か
Can
ら
you go that a
6.5
bit
までの
step
期間
further?
では対応しきれないので
No.
8人の
Yes,
透
go
滅
that
戦
step
に関して
further.
は 7.0 以降順次対応してい
One
くつ
step
もりです
further. I want a room that just summons raid bosses at you.
You may see the disclaimers on the bottom.
Yeah, I know
but,
that's what you want, Dunkurk.
For the 8-player trials,
I
especially
mean, you're getting
those
that in 9.2 in
with
Torghast.
the
Fucking
Heaven's Word
Kex,
expansion.
give up on
I'm
Torghast,
afraid
please.
we
No,
are unable
no.
to
Please,
update it at this time.
Fail
We tried
Torghast
to
alongside
calculate
islands
all
and
the
scenarios
costs
and
and the
what
resources that it would take for us to
Torghast.
address
Yes,
all of
you
this
also
within
enjoyed
that sort of
islands, so like I said,
6.1
file it away with
6.2,
islands
but
and war
I'm
fronts.
afraid we would be unable to allocate the resources for it.
Like,
so
Blizzard are gonna
we
once this
will
expansion's
get to
done,
it,
that's for sure.
after
For all the positive
7.0.
things you can bring up and the
Yeah,
positive
these
points of an
updates will
expansion
be
you bring up the
considered
worst and say, yeah,
for
but
7.0
it was
later.
great.
まあもちろん皆さんご存知の
Just
通
can't
り
agree with.
そ
Hang
の
on, I never said
通常の
that
ね
Torghast
マ
was
ッチン
great. I
グが
said
な
I
くなるわ
enjoyed
け
it.
じゃ
This
な
is
い
a
の
different
で
thing. This is a different
あくまでストーリーを
So it's shit then.
進めていきたい
What's up with this
っていう
fiction?
人のための機能なの
Awful.
で
I love it.
ルーレットだったりねマ
I'm-
ッチングっていうところは
I'm
そ
not
のま
questioning.
ま
I'm not
継続していくので
I
そ
am.
こは
Yeah,
ご承
Dunkurk
知
is.
ください
And of course, we don't intend to do away with the regular matching systems. Your leveling dungeons and queue matching in Duty Finders will still be active and available. These
Yeah, I don't
trust
think anyone thought you were
compatibility
going to remove
is
queues for these
primarily
dungeons
for
because you
those
put NPC
who
options in. Like what?
To be
have a
honest, I wouldn't
strong
be
desire
surprised
to
if they
play
did.
through these story dungeons on
You'd be the
their
only
own.
person.
でですね
Can you like
8
fix
人統合戦
Castrum and
は
Praetorium? Oh god,
今回
please.
行月のフィナーレでハイデリン
No,
統
no,
滅
wait,
戦
wait,
でテストケースをしても含めてやっ
I
たん
know-
ですけどやれることは
I know you don't mean that, Duncan.
なんだろう確
No,
証
they're
を
great.
得ら
You
れた
don't
んです
even
けど、まあ、
experience
相当やっぱりコストがかかるっていうのと、ギミックから調整していかないといけないっていうこともあって
Such
まず
devastation
数
was
の多い
not my
ID から優
intention.
先させていただいてますあとはね8人なんで責任半のかかり方がちょっと減る
That'd
んで
be
やっぱ
like
り
leveling through
まあここは
cataclysm is just then going, right, time to do
逆
Dragon
にマッ
Soul.
チングの面白さみたいなところを味わってもらいたいので一旦7.0
No one would ever live. Not just Dragon Soul, mate. Oh,
Of
you
course,
reached
with
the end of
these
Classic
8 people
Molten Core, bud.
trials or 8-person battles. We
Good
did
luck waiting
try
for those
it out
40
with
people.
the Mother Crystal trial.
Just
and
39, actually.
We were able to see success as like a test case, but it did require a lot of resources for us to
Where's that
build it.
fucking
And then
heroic
if we
strike
were
in it? What the
to
fuck?
start applying that system to existing dungeons, we'd have to adjust the the mechanics so that it would accommodate for the trust system. So at this time, we made the decision to move forward with just the instanced dungeons. And with an 8-person trial, I think that sort of reduces the responsibility per person going into the match, hopefully. So
I don't like that design.
we're hoping
idea.
that players would
Yeah.
still
I think
jump
any person
into
trial
like
should
a duty
increase
finder and
the personal
hopefully
responsibility on
get
people.
the
It should be harder
enjoyment
than a
out of
5-man
matching up with
performance,
random
whatever the fuck it
people.
is again.
So at this time, we are unable to address it within the 6.1 through 6.5 period, but we are looking to it for 7.0
Oh,
or
8.0
later.
confirmed.
でちょっと注意なんですけど、
はい
まあどうしてもフェイスっていう呼び方をすると、
You know, you linked
暁といけんのかな
Talia
とか
Did you
名
actually
のある
listen to
NPC
the
といけんのかな
story?
ってイメージがちょっと強いと思うんです
No,
けど、
I don't really follow them.
You
ストー
really
リー
should
上
watch the
こ
video.
う
Fucking
Like-
マッチングでしかいけないから
It's
こ
the most-
そ
bruh.
じゃあ俺は他のことをやってく
It
る
really
みたいなのでこうみんなちょっといなくな
I'll
った
give
り
it a
と
check
か
later.
してたと思うんですよ。あれ
The
まで
highlight
全
for
部
me is
変える
the
はさ
first
す
person
がに
that
無
goes
理
to
な
the
の
door.
で
The first person that
特に序盤とかは
See with the second
冒
person,
険者ギル
I
ドの
was
メ
like,
ン
it's
バ
gonna
ー
be
だった
like
り
fucking
と
Uber
か
Eats or some shit you
暁
ordered like an
の
hour ago and forgot
光
about.
のなんだろうこう光の加護を持っているであろう
And
他
Joe,
の
the
メ
best
ン
thing
バー
is,
みたい
is
なイ
I
メ
can
ージで
imagine like
組
that
む
is
ケースが多いで
exactly
す
how。it happened.
And I want to make another point of caution here. Whenever we say
caution.
trust
Oh.
compatibility, I think the thought that,
All of a sudden
oh,
John
can we
Burkham
go
pops
into
up.
this dungeon with members of the Scions or any sort of named NPCs? And some of these story dungeons have key players kind of leaving the scene, like where the warrior of light goes into a dungeon and say somebody goes up and say, oh, I'm going to take care of matters over there. We can't have them come back just to join you in the dungeon. So in those cases, especially the earlier dungeons, you will see your trust members as like members from the Adventurers Guild or maybe other people who have the,
Oh, yay.
the
Ray
Echo
Flocks.
accompany you in these
Ah.
dungeons.
ただ
So
Well,
for the sake of
キーにな
story,
る
it's
スト
the
ーリー
same
上
thing
の
they did
キ
in
ーに
WoD.
なるポイントで
Like
Ma-
if you had
Keeping
like,
it-
I-
make-
他
make-
のダンジョン
they're keeping it
一緒に
making
行って
sense,
欲しかったなってプレイヤー
not
の
WoD.
皆さんが
Was it
思って
Legion
る
where
よう
like
なポイン
yeah,
ト
you could
は
have you could have
シナリオ
Forum
の一
following
部
you around
カッ
as
ト
a
シーンも
warrior,
含め
but
てちょっ
like
と変
everyone
更
else
してで
disappears
も
as like
できるだけ
Are you
それに
dead? Are you
Yeah,
dead?
yeah,
まあ
yeah.
添えるようにやっぱニーズヘックと対峙するときはエスニアも行って欲しかったなみたいなやつはできる限りそういうシチュエーションはなんとか対応していこうと思ってるので、一部ねそれもちょっと変更する部分があるかなとは思います。全部は無理なんで、
Okay, so what about
はい、
8.0?
そこはご了承ください。
But that being said, there are certain key points in the story where we do understand players might have a very strong desire to have particular NPCs accompany you in a dungeon. So in some extreme cases, and not extreme cases, but like some key points, the team will make some adjustments. We may have to change a part of the script so that it'll make sense for the character to join you. An example I can come up with off the top of my head is probably the Nidhogg battle. I'm sure a lot of people would have thought like, oh, it would have been nice to have Estinian join as part of the Trust NPC. So we're considering having that available. So there may be some
He's there at the end.
content
No,
that
but they mean have him
accommodates
during the
for
fight.
certain NPCs to join.
He is
you.
there. He's at the end
I'm
in
afraid
the fight.
We can't address
they
all of
mean,
them.
like,
We can't
have
make
him
it happen
during
with
the
all
fight.
of the dungeons. So your understanding on that would be appreciated.
Yeah, I don't
They
think
can
you're
do the
hearing
whole
me.
dungeon. So you can do the
そう
whole
the whole dungeon, yeah, but
ご
if
めん
it's
ね
just
ちょっと長く
fine.
て、6.1特集パート1の時にまた詳しくお話ししようと思いますが、新生オルゼアの後半って結構今のレギュレーションと違ってしまってるこうダンジョンとかが多いので、かなり手が入ってますいろいろ。
And of course, with the details of 6.1, we will have a dedicated live letter for that, and I will delve into details at that time. But I do want to mention that much of the content, especially in the later half of ARR, differ in how the regulation is set up. So there are changes that have been made.
まあ例えば
This is a focus I didn't think they'd be going down.
ドゥーンってなってヘビ
I know what to
ース
say.
ロ
on
ー
it,
がか
really.
かる
Could be better.
ヘビーがかかる床とかなくなってます。
I agree, it could be better.
For example, like when you go into the Thousand Miles of Totorak,
What?
and you step on those like poison floors, and all of a sudden you are hit with heavy or slow. We're actually getting rid of that.
Oh, thank God.
まあ、あとはちょっと Q14 から申請するのに急いで
Because it's not good.
ライティング良くないな
Never removed mechanics. The suppression room is unchanged.
I was about to say, yeah, and everyone hates it with a burning
And
passion.
there are also
No, I
some
just
aesthetic
only do
No,
changes
there's no no,
that
they
we
do.
wanted
Everyone
to
hates it.
make.
No, I only do
There were
what
certain
when we're on a
areas
demon hunt
of the earlier part of
Yeah, sure.
FF14
And everyone-
when we were trying to quickly just
No.
relaunch
Yeah,
as a
suppression
realm
room has been
reborn.
changed.
So there were areas where lighting
Oh,
may
class
not
again.
have been
Fuck.
100% to what we would have been satisfied
When did it get
with.
changed?
So we went back in and adjusted those as well.
そしてですね、
It wasn't
まあ
Cataclysm.
他にもですね、
No,
8
it was
人
after Cataclysm.
まあ8人パーティーバトルの一番最初であるビッグアッティング
It was there for a long time before they decided, this is a bad thing that we should change.
Yeah, put it back.
And then one of the first 8
I'm so glad you're not a game developer, Dunkurk. Like, for WoW or any other
encounter,
MMO.
I believe, is Camp Westwind.
What if I become one
and
just
I
to spite
want
you now?
to mention that we are doing away
Then I'll
with
not
that.
play whatever you're
大
making.
ショックを受けておられる
Final Fantasy
People are
XIV.
getting shocked.
No,
帝
you won't.
国の盾としてね
Jokes on you.
武人として、身を挺してやってきた、ね、帝国将軍の一人、まあ将軍ではないけど正し
It
く
is
は
Nami, it is
8
the
人で
worst
フルボ
of
ッコはいかがなものかということでですね、
はい
ちゃんとコストをかけてですねクエストインスタンスバトルとして、生まれ変わりますので
What's the worst dungeon?
Considering
Final Fantasy.
Litatine
All MMOs.
is like the shield of the Garlean Empire. I mean, he's technically not a captain, but like, I mean,
Played a
he's
lot of
like
MMOs.
a very
What is the
prominent figure. I
worst dungeon
think
I've ever
it
done?
would be very humiliating for 8 people to come in and just beat him up. So we actually allocated
No,
the
it's not actually that
resources
bad.
to rebuild that
Quite
battle
Whitehall because
so
it's
that
one
it's
room
going
where
to
you just
be
stand still and
a
kill.
quest instanced battle that you go in.
まあ他にも内閣外閣と呼ばれている8人ダンジョンあれらもですね今回すべて4人用 ID に作り直してあります
That one time we tried the
And then,
dungeon.
of course, the Praetorium and the
That dungeon had
Castrum
some interesting
Meridian. Sorry, I can't
Meridianum.
pronounce it.
Castrum Praetorium. Yes, continue.
Those very long Guardian bases that you need to go. They were originally 8-person content, but we are going to be changing it so that these are
Oh.
4-person instant dungeons.
Oh,
Instanced
thank
dungeons.
God!
だからアルテマウェポ
How
ン
will
戦
that
も
make a
切り出
difference?
し
That
て
means it reduce everything so
4
it'll be
人用とし
quicker.
てシナリオモードを
But it's already like
作って
instantly
で
quick.
あ
The
と
thing that slows it down
No.
is the cutscenes.
ラハブレアが憑依した
The cutscenes need to get
サンは8人でただ
Not the
ひたすら
dungeon itself.
No, 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 no,
殴
no.
るっていうのも
You always have to like collect more
the
people to go as well every
story
time. So if it's 4, that means that the queue times will be shorter.
大好評
Queues
The
are
queue
already
times would be
instant
like
for
2
those.
minutes. Yeah, they were pretty much
And
instant
so,
anyway.
your battle with
Cinematic
That doesn't change.
Ultima,
That doesn't
or
change.
the
a
Ultima
fucking
weapon,
thing.
Yes, it
will
does.
be changed
It won't.
to
It's not
a
always that.
4-person battle. We are
It absolutely
adjusting the
is.
scenario.
It's not. You've played for 5 minutes and
mode
then you've
for
gone
that.
away. You don't know.
And then
Yeah,
where
and
you
4
go
of
in
those
and
5 were fucking Castrum
silently
and
beat up
Praetorium
La
and fucking
Habrea,
cutscenes.
aka Thancred, being
Yeah,
possessed by
that
La
changes. That
Habrea,
changes. Fucking
is also
nothing.
going to be adjusted so that it's an instance during a story quest.
というわけで、まあそんな風にコストもですね、レギュレーション、今のプレイフィールにできるだけ近づけられるように、いろんな改修をしつつです
All of
ね
the、
パ
people
ッ
in
チ
chat going,
6.1 から 6.5 にかけて、
Knocked a minute off my queue time for the 25-minute dungeon.
対応していこうと
Hey,
思います。
that all adds up if you do it on
お願いします
weekly.
25
Why would you
minutes.
do it
So,
more than once
yeah, in a
ever?
nutshell,
Because it's really
we
good
are
experience.
going in and making many adjustments so that
It takes less than a week to
fits
level cap, Farniro.
with kind of follows
Why would you do that
sync
thing
better
weekly?
with how the game feels at this time.
Also, if they lower it to 4
So,
people, it will give less
Throughout
XP.
patch
So-
6.1 through 6.5, we will be looking at the various content up
It
to
changes-
the
it just
4.x
changes nothing.
series, the different instance dungeon to make adjustments.
さあ、ではこのセクション以上で次へ行きたいと思います。
Okay, so moving on to the next section.
Oh yeah, so if they turn it to a 4-man, that means if they put it as a trust, you can skip cutscenes. So yeah, it can be
挑
quicker.
戦ですね。
Ah, no, they never said
They said they're putting interest into patch 2.0, and Praetorium is in 2.0.
使ってですね、まず まあ長期運営やっていく
If
上
that
で
was true,
第
they would
一
have
次のグ
grouped
ラフィ
up
ッ
in
ク
the
スアッ
same
プデート
announcement.
を
It's two separate.
It
Yeah,
is the same
参加
announcement.
させていた
No,
だき
no,
ま
it
す
isn't.
they
It's two
specifically
separate.
saying they would have
So our
specifically
second
says
concept, and again, this
they would
is
have absolutely
going to be the
given how much people
preparation
want to get rid of those
that
fucking
we will be
dungeons
doing
from
throughout
thing.
patch
They would have
6.1 to
specifically says
6.5,
yes, you can
leading
trust
up
them.
to the launch of
They
7.0.
didn't. All they
It
said
is
was they
a
were reducing it to 4
long-term
months.
or like
That's all
preparation
they said. They never
for
said it was
long-term
having trust.
They
operation
said,
of the game,
and when they talked
and
about putting trust in
we
everything
want
else,
to
they said
be
there would be some things where
doing
it's more
this in the
difficult.
background, but we'll be
So-
preparing for our first graphics update.
ただ、まあ、なぜ第一次
At
グラ
no
フィック
point
スアッ
did
プ
they
デ
say
ート
it
を
would
売
allow
って
trust.
るかっていうと、まあ2時も3時もあるんだろう、もしかしたらってことなんですけど、なぜかというともうここまで11年運営してきてると、もう尋常じゃないリソー
Again,
ス、
a trust would
グラ
take
フィッ
longer
ク
to
ス
do
アセ
it,
ットが
so
存在してます。
you're not gaining.
So
Oh,
the
really?
reason why we named this the
Yes.
first graphical
Current trusts don't
update,
take long to
and
do
that's
dungeons than normal.
of course to imply that there will
The players
probably
who
a
know what they're
second
doing,
and
it
or
absolutely
third
does.
after this, but
The
our
NPCs
game
are
has been
brain
in
deficient.
operation for about 11 years, and considering
Maybe it doesn't
all
take
the
longer for your
graphical
average games.
assets we have produced, it's an insane amount.
The game has
やっぱ
MMR.
一気
You
に
just don't
極
notice
限
it.
まで上げようとすると、絶対コンバートミスがあったりとか、そもそも
SPMM
コンバートの物理時間が足りなくて、もうデザインチームが
Depends on the
無
group,
理で
yeah.
す絶対できませんっていう答えになってしまうので、まあやれることを一回やって引き上げたら、またその状態で安定が見えたら次にやってっていう形で、まあその第1回目が来るんだというふうに思ってください。
It depends on the group. Chris is correct on that one.
And so,
Yeah,
if
that's what
we
I'm saying, maybe it takes a
attempted
while for
to
your groups.
update every single piece of graphical
tanking them,
asset
so
or resource
you don't
that
control
we've
the
put
pace.
into the game all at the same time, we might run into issues of conversion errors, or it's just physically takes a lot of time to convert everything. And consulting with the graphics team, they already know that we can't address everything all at the same time. And so what we're trying to do is address these in phases so that we can test out certain
phases, just like
elements,
classic.
see how they work, and if it seems to be stable, we move into the next phase. And so I think with our first graphical update, this will be like the first time we start testing some of these elements.
4K グレープスでめっちゃ吹いた。
4K grapes.
I saw a comment that says 4K grapes. Thank you so much for that. That's hilarious.
あそこに 4K とかね、なんか40万ポリゴンとかかけてると、それこそ Q40 みたいにキャラクター全然表示できねえぞってことになっちゃうので、まあちょっとこれから詳しく説明はしますよ。
When we called ourselves the Square
That's
Squad.
hilarious, but like imagine
And someone was in
spending
there.
so much resources just to get the grapes to be 4K resolution. And
Yes.
imagine spending 400,000 polygons just to depict a piece of fruit.
Yeah.
We won't have enough resources to render our characters on screen.
No, prioritize
Let
the
me go
grapes.
into the details.
Do it.
そのグラフィックスアップデートは一気に
I didn't mute you, I deafened myself.
投入を予定してます。
Don't deafen yourself then.
No,
So
don't
again,
tell me what to do.
these graphical updates are
Okay, do deafen
intended to
yourself.
be
Okay.
Implemented in 7.0.
まあその次期拡張パッケージまでの間っていう
Or
のを
was it a bluff?
まあ僕らの
No, he can't talk either.
のアップデートのシェーダー追加したりとか
Really went.
いろんなものを追加していくテスト期間だったりプログラム期間だったり
Did they
それに合わせた
specifically
グラフィックスアセットのコンバート期間というふうにさせてください。
Stuff.
So
4K grapes.
until
It sounds like they wanna do,
7.0,
like,
this will
maybe
be, again,
everything,
our
but they're doing it
preparation
slowly.
period. So this is
Yeah, like
where
Yeah.
our team will be testing
So
out
following
various
while they'll release
additions to
Sunwell
the
with new
graphical
fire.
elements, including different shaders.
Cataclysm will get the new water.
We'll probably need to write more programs. This is where
Graph
when
gives them
we're
new
going
ground
to be doing
textures,
our
like, you
asset
know.
conversions,
Hey, Kezzy.
etc.
Shadows
で
come
こ
in
こ
with
が
Shadow
重要
M.
なんですけ
No,
ど、
Legion.
あくまでやっぱりマル
We're
チ
just
プ
seeing
レイの
what
ゲーム
what's
で
coming
あ
in
る
the
ってい
future
うのをぜひ
essentially.
覚えておいてほしくて、やっぱり画面全体の
Screen-wide
さ
aesthetic appeal
中盤か
suits
ら
to a
申請した
multiplayer
時
environment.
に
Okay.
感じていただいたように、
Multi-monitor
総
support
合
when.
的な美しさ、世界の美しさっていうのを追求していきますよと、コンセプトとしてはね。
And of course, one key point that we
Probably
want
get
players to
ultimate
understand is that this is still a multiplayer game. And so
fucking
we
fool
want
me.
to strive for the aesthetic quality of the overall picture and
Fucking
looking
treat it like
at
it's a-
the sort of beauty or the element, aesthetically pleasing sort of overall picture.
Where'd the world
だって
PvP at?
こうまさにね発売されたホライゾンのさクオリティでさ動くと思われたら困るわけだよあれで俺たち300人とか描画しなきゃいけないんでいやできはするんだけど
World PvP in WoW.
みんな
Are you
PC
asking
動
for
かない
that?
よ
Why does Yoshi P feel as though he would be fantastic on a Batsu
And
game?
I see games like Horizon Forbidden West, and I don't want to get people to think that we'll raise our graphic quality to that. It's amazing, yes, but imagine having to render 300 different characters on screen at the same time at that quality.
cheap.
It's not physically impossible, but then I don't think it's gonna run on anybody's
Then
PC.
they have weak PCs.
そこは覚えなきゃねみん
Of
な
course
ね
you'd say that.
So please keep that in mind.
They do not belong in my world.
ここねなんか
Put it in the-
勘違いされるのが
Put it
一
into the
番怖
cry
い
engine.
That's the scariest
Wait, okay.
thing for people
With that
to
comment, so
kind
do
of
you want it more multiplayer or
misconstrue.
not? I'm confused. I'm getting
Yes.
mixed signals from
Only
you.
for a select
当
few.
然なんですけどアニメーションとか
I also-
世
they
界
pointed out-
全体画
I
面全
also
体
they
の
were like,
美
we
しさって
spent
いう
half
と
an
こ
hour
ろに
talking
やっ
about
ぱ
how
ア
we're
ニ
going
メ
to
ー
make
シ
the
ョン
game
とか
less
ライティングシス
multiplayer
テムっていうの
focused.
も大きく
But anyway, this is still a
こ
multiplayer
の
game.
辺りも
Yeah, no, they gotta remind you.
Yeah, they need to
Of
remind you because the
course,
gameplay doesn't.
considering the sort of overall
I like how new graphics will not be
aesthetic,
comparable to those standalone
animation
titles.
is going
I'm glad
to
it said
be
that because
key
if
element.
it's going to be
We're
like
looking
at
at,
15
lighting
levels,
is
holy
another element
shit.
that we want
It
to
won't be,
adjust as
it won't be
well.
comparable to standalone titles. They won't even be
まあ
comparable
例え
to
ばア
Final
ニメー
Fantasy
ション
VII.
に
What
使
the
っ
fuck?
ているよくねメモリがって言われますけ
We
ど
go
メモリの割り当てをちょっと増
Hey
やす
now.
ことによ
は
って今までより
はい
長尺のこうエモート
Stop
モーションが作れるとかあと
That's hate
まあその
speech and you
ライ
get
ト
banned for
の
that.
レベルが
Against
ライトの数が
RuneScape.
増えることで実は
In
潰れ
this
ていた
Discord?
バックグラウンドディティールがより見え
At
て
this time of day,
Yes,
in this
because I
Discord.
am the creator of this channel. I have the crown.
It's true, he does.
So what we mean by
got you there.
these
I'm gonna
two
check 'cause I know I don't
animation
in one
and
of them.
lighting systems is, for example, I know people would automatically start talking about, oh yeah, memory issues with animation.
Download more
So
RAM.
if we revisit some of
more
the
RAM.
allocation
Easy.
of the memory for animation, it might
What do you mean
allow
there's
us
a global
to
silicon
create
shortage?
emotes with a longer animation
Animation lighting
loop,
system updates during raids. People
or
just T-pose
with
everywhere. There's
lighting.
no animation.
There,
It's just
Oh,
just
that's an
having more
improvement.
lights
What are you on
than we
about?
had originally
great.
set up
Just
would allow
floating
for
ultra-
details
ultra low
that
graphic settings.
would have been sort
They're
of
sliding along
washed
the
out or
ground,
like not
T-posing.
visible
Sounds
because
great.
of
Every game comes out
insufficient
with like
lighting
low,
to
medium,
kind of
high,
show up,
and
and
they'll go to
so that will
ultra.
allow
We need
for an
further in the other
improvement
direction.
in the graphical
So
quality
you can just
without us
make it
even
look like
having
Banjo-Kazooie.
to adjust
That'd be
the
fucking
elements
ace.
that are already in the game.
menacing.
まあ重
Menacing.
要なところです
はい
スタンドアローンのゲームクオリティにはなりません
Wide
これを
range
で
of
すね
hardware
皆さん
specs. Is it
頭
gonna
に
run on
吸
my
い込むため
Nintendo
にですね
DSi from
寝る前に
2006?
必ず一度復習していただきたいぐらい
Because if not, what's the point?
Final Fantasy XIV
And
challenging.
again, very important point. I want to stress again: the new graphics will not be comparable to those
Can I
of
run Doom in
standalone
Final
titles.
Fantasy
This is
14?
again very important. I want you to remember it. I want you to repeat it before you go to bed.
can
That's
play
how much I want people to remember.
Peter, before you go to bed.
まあとはいえ
Do it.
やっぱりグラフィックスいろいろ手を入れ
I'm pretty
て
sure you can run Doom in
パフォーマンスというかね
Yeah, you can.
処理はより
100%.
動作が重くなるは
You
す
can
るの
also
で
run an entire
7.0 では
Pokemon
最低
Red
動作保証スペッ
and
クの
Minecraft.
条件が変わるのは
That's a
確
good
定
point
です
Nami's just
ただ
made.
できるだけ多くのスペックに、ね、
The minimum operating specs are
対応できるっていうところは
But they
これ
also
まで
want
の
to accommodate
ポリシーでもあるの
range
で
of hardware
捨てずにやってい
There's
た
a
だ
Yeah, broad
balance.
range, but not the same range.
Yeah, there's a
So
balance.
that being said,
Keep up.
we do want to update the graphics
realize
for
I'm a little bit
sure,
in the way.
and so that means
Well, but you're always in
your
the way.
processor might require more power in order to render these
I'm waiting for
graphics
Yoshi P to say something for
properly
her to go.
or like
I'm sorry, I
efficiently.
completely
So
fucking
we
phased
will
out there.
probably have to update the system
You know when someone's talking to you and you just
for your
phase. You know when someone's talking to you
for
and you
your
phase out and
machines
you
and
come
your
back and you're like,
PCs.
what?
We will try our best to accommodate for as many models of machines to accommodate with the changes, but
We'll try our
we
best,
do
but if
want
yours
to-
gets caught in the
to
fire, well, that's your
make you
fault.
aware that
Get
it
fucked,
is
scrub.
pretty much guaranteed that we will have to
They
update the system
basically just said that
requirements.
でやっぱり気になるプレイステーション
minimum
4なん
operating
ですけど
specifications are going to change and we're going to move forward.
この
If you get hit by them, it's your
6.x
fault.
期間中に
It is, never mind the global silicon shortage making
PS4 版の
it
最適
like
化を
ridiculously impossible to
やっていきま
upgrade
す
your hardware right now.
And I know
Get
people
out of
are
your
wondering
string, yeah.
about PlayStation 4
that's the other
support
side.
as of
PlayStation 4 stayed
7.0.
supported.
I think what's going to happen,
Fuck
and this
off.
will probably be done prior to the launch of 7.0, so sometime within the 6.x series, we do want to
Optimize it out the
optimize the
door.
PS4 version for sure.
で、さらにですね、まあ PC 版にあるようにグラフィックスオプションのカスタムっていうの PS4 版少ないんですけど、あれを増やしてですね、新しいその描画とか入れるとやっぱ重くなる部分があるので、重くても綺麗でいいやという人はオンにしてもらえばいいんだけど、まあオフにしてそのフレームレートを優先するみたいなことができるようにしていくので、PS4 のサポートっていうのも少なくとも 7.0 のタイミングではしっかりやりますので。
So, and on top of that,
She's
there are
like,
various graphical
sorry.
configurations that you can set up
What?
on the PC version.
What words there?
Like you can
Graphics.
customize some of the like display options, and we understand that it's a bit lacking in the PS4 version.
That's my new
So we
reaction
do want to
image in the chat.
implement options in the configuration so that you can select
Turtle made it
like
to the war.
prioritize frame rate, or if you want to, if
Round.
you're okay with performance kind of dropping slightly, but
not-
still have
it's
the
not quite the
graphics
Slovene I posted yet.
performance, then you can select that
Yesterday?
option, whatnot. So
Yeah.
I do want to assure you that we
Mexico,
will
like a tourist.
continue supporting for
Yes,
PS4
yesterday.
at least until 7.0.
Ugh,
Um,
it looks like a corpse.
yeah, I don't.
みんなどう思うんだろうこれ。
I don't like it.
No,
What
Hi.
people's reactions are.
I don't like that.
I want to get off.
It looks too. I
俺
don't
かと
know.
思ったって言って
I'd have preferred maybe an
Some
action
people think,
scene
oh, is
or
that
something
me?
rather than just dead stare. Hmm.
そう
It
そ
will
うそう
see you.
I mean, it
なんかさ
looks like
多分ね
it's definitely updated graphics wise, but it's like
こ
The
れじゃ
hair
ないよね
absolutely
多
looks
分
like
み
it's
ん
made
な
out of Play-Doh.
求めてるの。
not as much as that guy in fucking
I
Lost Ark
don't
the other
think
day,
this
though.
is what
Well, no.
we are
That was true
looking
Play-Doh.
for. This is not what we
Play-Doh.
desire.
なんか疲れた吉田って書かれてる。
He's looking at the
Some
comments in the
people are
chat. He's like,
saying this
"Oh,
looks
no."
like a very tired Yoshida.
Oh fuck.
そうなんか違うでしょ。
Some artists are gonna
Yeah,
get
but
whipped
it
when he
kind
gets
of
back
does
to the
feel
office.
awkward.
Oh wait.
まあここま
Oh,
で
that's
リア
not
ル
what
に
they're
はなら
doing.
んす。
Okay.
Ah,
Oh, why wait on
So
that?
we aren't
they
going
want
to
to
be
bait you. They're like,
going
aha.
to-
Panic people into
to make it
thinking,
look this
"Ah!"
real.
Yeah.
まあいわゆるフォトリアルを追求していくとグラフィックスアップデートってこっちに行きがちなんですけど、おそらくファイナルフ
So when
ァン
a
タジ
Minecraft
ー
version
14 の
comes up,
世界やキャラクターが気に入ってくださってる
Johnny
方って
Bravo
多分こっちを求めてはいないと
Who's
思っ
ready
て
for
ま
the
す。
Final Fantasy XIV Clay Fighter crossover?
And some games, of course, their intent is to lean towards that photorealistic depiction, and people tend to lean in this direction. But
Black
I think
Desert and all
for
that.
those who enjoy the aesthetic of Final Fantasy XIV, this is not necessarily what we want to begin with.
では、今そのグラフィックスアップデートって実はテスト開発もスタートさせてるんですけど、テストスタートしてからまだ1ヶ月と1週間ぐらいなんですね。
So with these graphical updates, we are already starting testing actually, and it's been about a month and a week.
なのでその1ヶ月と1週間ぐらいテストをして、まあこれだったら
It doesn't look realistic.
まあ
is the
今
problem
出しても
with
まあ
it.
いけるだろうここまではと
I'll be honest.
まあこれ以上
Kind of
目指すんだけど
This whole
ま
thing
あ
might be
少なくとも
completely
一
useless
旦お
because
見せしても
apparently
ここまでは間
explosions
違いな
have been
く
in Ukraine, so
大丈
it's
夫だ
been
よ
nice
あると
knowing you, gentlemen.
7.0で
Oh, not
っていう
again.
のを用意してきたんでちょっと見ていきましょうか。
And so we are still very early in our testing
I
stages.
mean,
Again,
there
about a
could be
month or
unrelated
so testing,
explosions
but
in a
we
hot
do
war zone.
have results that we're seeing.
Maybe someone just left
that
some popcorn
is-
in the microwave too long.
Of course, we're going to aim higher than what we're
It's
going to be
possible.
showing you,
That
but
shit loud.
it's. I think it's coming out pretty nicely, and we are relatively confident. So let us show you some of these images.
I love how Nami says, I love how even with slow mods, the Final Fantasy
こちらがですね
XIV
テスト
chat
期
is
間
unreal. Yes,
1
that's
ヶ
because
月
they're
目
from
のサン
Japanese.
プルですキャラクターですねまず
So from first month
True.
of testing, so this is one of the samples.
これ左が今で右がテクスチャーをハイレゾリューション化してます髪の毛も含めてであとシェーダーを、1枚入れてます
The one on the right looks like a character from Final
And so what
Fantasy
you're
The Spirits
seeing
Within.
is the current image on the left, and then on the
Oof.
right, we've made the textures high resolution.
It
and
definitely looks
we've
closer to
added
what
a
like
layer
Cloud
of
looks like in the
shaders.
like remake.
あと、
in
セ
terms
ル
of
フシ
that
ャドウ
level,
って言
which
って
is
自分
okay.
の髪の毛の影が顔に落ちた時、まあその自分の
Yeah, if you don't have
オブジェクトが自分に影を落とすのをセルフシャドウって言うんですけど、そこも調整
Because
して
you
るの
can't see anything good
結構
good in front of
セ
you
ルフシャドウ
in
実は
front
す
of
ご
you
い気
big
になってて、カ
right
ットシーンとかでも。
If it arrived from where?
And
Anywhere.
one
On a
thing that
flight
we
from
did
JFK,
pay
like, what
attention
the
to
fuck?
was the self shadow, or whenever there's like an object that drops a shadow on yourself. Especially if
Not
you look
only
at
is it Japanese
the
Japanese that
veins
flies by at
and the
ludicrous
shadow it
speed.
casts underneath it. That was something
Ludicrous.
that I was
Yes, you've just described
kind of-
Japan.
I wanted to address, looking at the cutscenes in the past.
でまあこれ1ヶ月目のサンプルなのでもっと上目指せるとは思ってるんですけど、動作保証あまりにも重くならないっていう意味では、今一旦お見せできるのはここ
It's fine seeing it like this, but I'd need to see it like in the scenes themselves to sort of get a good
行って
like
まあや
idea.
れるより
No,
高いと
because
ころは
you
目指
just
してい
stand
こうかな
still
と
in
思ってます
capital cities. That's
Yeah, but you
So,
still
of
have a
course, we do
background
want
and
to
everything
strive
behind you.
for even better, but at
And
this
an
time,
environment
I
that you're
think, from 1 month of testing and making sure that the
we'll make
the
sure it's
game
part of
itself
the
runs
environment. Yes,
properly.
it's bound to be once
I
it's
think
there.
this is what we can show at this time, and then we'll continue to test and we'll continue to sort of improve and then apply optimization.
まあいわゆるヒロシと呼ばれてる
It's definitely a bit more
彼
depth
でや
to
る
it.
とこんな感じです。
Of course, our Derplander.
でちょっとミコッテのサンプルです。
Here's a
Don't you
sample of the
fucking-
Mikote.
まあ戦月賞
Don't you what? Show off a
ボケ具合
Mikote, one of their
が
primary
まあ
races?
なく
Like
なったりですね
what?
髪の毛の柔らかいそのカ
What's wrong
ー
with
ル
you?
の印象とかってちゃんと出て
The only
るけど、
Ote
まあ
I
セル
care
フシャドウ
about
が
is
ボケてないんで
Chakotay.
ね、綺麗にかかる
and
んです。
coyote.
Yeah.
Of course, you may notice the face paint. The war paint is a lot crisper now. And then, as mentioned earlier, self shadow is nicer. I think it's brings out the softness of
That's a
her
heart.
face.
Yeah.
まあこれがだいたい1ヶ月目だっていうのをぜ
I
ひ
know you're not
認識
too
しておい
familiar.
てくだ
That's a
さい。
he, by the way, Dunkirk. Just to let
I
you
think
know.
just to
That's
remind you, this is
Kexame.
After testing for about a month.
Tell me that's not Kexame.
I mean,
I don't know who you're talking about.
The fish guy from Naruto.
no one watched Naruto.
Who?
いやまあこの方向性良さそうよね、やっぱりね。
うん
みんなのコメント見てると。
The fishman with Sammy Hada.
Looking at everybody's comments, it seems
Killer bee,
like
kill
we
them.
are on the right
Gandalf.
track in
You
terms of,
watched
like,
the entire
production
fucking
and
show, Farniro.
そうですね
Kexin! I love Kexin going, you know.
Yeah, you know.
The lull was actually quite challenging.
なんかリアルにするところがなくて
Half an hour later, Dunker's like, kiss me!
There, no one has really to make
Screaming
it
it into the
quote
mic.
unquote
I just don't know.
realistic.
Him!
The fucking
That thing
partner
is-
of
まあでも
Itachi.
髪の毛綺麗になって、目の周りはものすごく
The Lava Fell was quite challenging.
鮮明になってまあキャラメイクしておけばねもちろん
Well,
いろんなパターン
first they had
作れ
to
るとは
find
思う
one.
んですけど
Had to
But I
find
think
one.
the hair has definitely gotten more defined, and then the eyes
It's the same
has
picture.
become very
Lalafell
crisp,
was, Lalafell
and
was
it
more
looks
difficult
a
because they
lot
had to
more
alter the contract
alive,
from
so
whichever
to
fucking
speak.
devil
And
they made it
with being able to
Lalaфell.
character create, I think it'll
They only had 5
have like
polygons
it
to
will
work with.
allow for
Yoshi P
players
had to
for
descend into that
a
realm
broad
he has not walked since the
range.
beginning of A Realm Reborn.
そうね肌の感じをどこまでそ
Lalafell's not
の
in
なんだろう
1.0.
本当
She
に
sounds
ツル
so
ツルするのか
unsure.
ララフェルは
She's like,
少しそうは言ってもちゃん
Lalafell?
と
Yeah, it's because
肌っていう
she knows
感じ
if
を
she
出
says
す
the
の
wrong
は
word,
結
the
構ね
Lalafell, like,
調整が難しいところだと思
Lalafels
う
will
ので
take her
ただ
soul.
皆さんが求めてるであろう方向性は理解しているつもりなので
Yeah, if she
しっ
says
かり
one wrong word.
種族ごとにですね
We're all-
調整しなが
we're all
らいき
doomed.
たいなと思ってます
What does
And
those, their mouths
It's still a
are so
challenge to figure out
small.
how do we depict the surface of
It
their
felt wrong
skin.
saying
Like,
that,
do
didn't
we
it?
make it completely like
Did a little bit.
flawless, spotless, or do we actually give
'Cause
it
it
some
felt wrong
texture to
hearing
make
it.
it look like skin?
Like, I wonder what it would be like to punch the face
We
of a
want to
Lalafell.
we want to believe that we understand
the last thing you
what
ever
the
do.
players are
Like punching
looking
a sack
for,
of
but it
potatoes.
is something that we still
Singular
need to
potato.
kind of explore.
まあなんて言ったって
な
11年も皆さんと一緒にこのゲーム作ってきてるんで
そうですね
皆さんが求める方向は
Yeah, but
理解してるつもりではあります
The Lalafell were turning you like the Valve
But
doing in
again,
the
we've
loading
been
screens.
with you
God,
guys
no.
for about 11 years at this time, so we want to believe that we
That's a memory I don't want brought
understand
back
what
up.
the
Thank you
players are
very much.
looking for.
ですいませんちょっとテスト1
Return
ヶ
it.
月目ということでですねキャラクターサンプルとしては以上になります、またなんだろう途中でねファンフェスのタイミングとかあればまた途中経過とかね、お知らせしていけたら
Sorry,
と
no
思ってます
refunds.
So yeah, because we are still in the early stages of
fucked, scrub.
testing, as for character samples, that is all that we have at this time.
But one
We're
human
hoping
and
that
one
we can
Lalafell is
continue
gonna
to
take a
update
while.
everybody on
And one
the
Makote.
status. Perhaps maybe next time. We
One
can do it
human
at,
and
like,
one
a film
Lalafell is
festival
gonna take a
or something
while.
like that.
じゃあ改めてですね
Someone
そ
on
の
Twitter
キャラ
just
ク
put
ター
comments
まず
watching
その
Nano
グラフィック
crying
ス第
at
一
high
次グラフィッ
res.
クスアップデートでキャラクターに関する表現のアップデート項目をお知らせしてお
Character
きます
Pierce updates. Oh no.
Okay, so just
This
wanted
will
to
be
recap all of the different
divisive.
elements that we look to update for our first set of graphical updates in terms of characters.
まずですね全体的にテクスチャーを高解像度にしていきます
skins
髪とか肌とかそれから今日ちょっとねご紹介できてないですけど装
Yes, make gear look
テクスチャー
prettier.
の解像度も上げてい
Oh
き
shit,
ま
they're
す
making high resolution steroids?
So first one would be higher resolution textures,
years
which
called.
includes hair, skin,
I only
and
just got it
we
a
weren't
second
able to
after
show
I
any
asked.
examples today,
I was like,
but
oh, God,
we
that's
do
what-
want to improve the
Don't you
textures
go to
of
steroids.
It's not hair.
gear as well.
It's not skin. Oh.
でさらにですねこれシェーダーと呼ばれる、処理になってくるんですけど質感の表現というのを向上させていきます例えば肌それから装備品の金属部分あと布って、
Material
布
skin
用のシェーダーっていうのが実はあって
Just
go to-
入れてたんですけ
Go
ど
go to the shop and be like, would you like some metals, fabric,
そろ
skins?
そろいけるだろうということで
Why
布が
is
もう少し
skin a
滑らかに
material?
布を多く見えるという
A material
シェーダーな
suggests
どを
you're
今、
making
研
something
究トライしているところです
I could say like hides
Well,
or fur, but they're like,
And
no,
this is
skin.
relating to
Hide as a
various
form of skin.
shaders,
Like what?
shader
No,
processing,
it is not.
which is
Yes.
improved material
Yeah, but you wouldn't call
qualities.
it that.
Of course,
Why
skin,
not?
metal, and fabric.
It's technically
It's interesting
correct.
because in the 1.0 or like the old version of Final Fantasy XIV, there was a shader,
3D,
or like a
3D parlance
process that
that
was just
skin
applied
is a
to
material,
fabric,
even if,
so
even
that
if it does sound
it
alarming.
would
Oh,
look-
okay.
the textures would
Right.
the texture quality would look like fabric.
Water
It
is
Does
was
also material.
too heavy
does
of a
certainly
load
sound
on
alarming.
processing, so we had to remove it in the relaunch.
We're going to
But
improve
we're
your
testing
skin.
various ways to
Oh, why, thank
see
you.
if we can apply something like
Someone ever
that
said
to
that to
make
me, I
fabric a
would
bit
run.
more, well, smoother and more
Come back,
fabric-like.
Kexman, I want to
And
improve
we're
your
still
skin.
kind of
You
researching
walk into a
and
tailor shop and it
trying
says the
out
finest
various
materials on the
methods.
door. You didn't expect this.
そしてですねキャラクターに対してのライティング
Wanna
と
wear a
シャドウ
human
の強化
skin
というのもやっていきます特にね見栄えに直結しやすいこうセルフシャドウに関してはすごくずっと気になってたんで
And then again, lighting and shadow, better lighting and shadow effects,
I should just
especially
move.
for the
Hold on,
player's
I'm gonna move.
shadows.
A bit sudden, but like, where are you going to? France again?
まあさっきもお話ししましたけど
No, that's closer to
できる
the
だけ
danger
プ
right
レイ
now. I
ヤー
don't
の
want to get
皆
there.
さんの今のキャラクターに持ってるイメージっていうのが変わらない
I
よ
feel
う
like
に
it's probably
綺麗
further
にな
away
ったな
from
俺
the
のキャラっ
overall
て思
danger
っても
though.
らえるようにしていきたいと思ってます
Really?
Of course, again, our
It's not gonna
goal
ban
is
France,
to make
like
it so
bomb
that
France
the
first.
Ban
overall
France.
appearance of
I'm gonna
player
ban
characters
France.
will be altered as little
just-
as
he
possible.
drops in
We
a
want
bomb
you
and it's
guys
Ban
to see the
Margera.
graphical updates and think, oh wow, my character is
It's like,
Jackass
hey, Jackass is
forever.
back, and everyone just screams and runs.
Jackass Forever marketing budget has gone overboard.
信じられない数のアセットがあるので
It's all been a political. It's all been like a
全部コンバートするの
movie
は
set
不
for
可
their
能
new
です
Jackass movie.
This is just promotional material.
So 2 points of caution.
Ukraine is just a promotional
the
material.
Gear. We mentioned about
Jesus.
updating the material quality of the gear, but you know,
My name is
there's
Johnny
an
Knoxville.
incredible,
Welcome to Jackass.
unbelievable
Immediately gets
amount
taken up
of
by
gear
fucking heat
available
round.
for all of our player characters, and considering
And he
we
leans
have
up and
to
gives a
convert them
thumbs up.
all, I don't. We
Yeah,
will
'cause the
not be able
Jackass guys are
to get
indestructible.
through
They're like
converting
cockroaches.
all of the gear by the
Pheromone
7
nuclear.
minute
Gaping,
time.
gaping 6-inch wound
な
across
の
his
で
torso.
7.0 で新しく実装されている装備っていうのは
Johnny Knoxville, and this is I have become destroyer of worlds.
なのでクオリティがより高いもので全部用意するつもりです
Hi, my name's Chris Pontius, and this is Infantry
So
Charge.
any gear that is
Fucking
implemented
launches across-
from 7.0 will have
That
gone
would
through
be
the
that like
process of
they
the
that would be like the
updated
peak
graphics.
Jackass
So,
though, wouldn't
of
it?
course,
Like
those will
how could
be
they
of
ever
the
get
higher
beyond
quality.
that?
ただし
they find a way.
まあ、できる限りこうプレイヤーの皆さんがミラプリとかをしておしゃれによく使っているものに関してはちょっと優先的に
Oh my
できる限り対応してまたパッチ 7.x シリーズで徐々にその古い装備っていうのを新しい仕様に
They still they record him in that 6 months later. They look beyond the bars, you look up and go, hey! He'd still be
全体が
fine.
上がっていくことにはなるかと思いますがよろしくお願いし
He'd
ます
still be
He'd
fine.
still be giving the thumbs up apart from his eyes. that are
But
fucking
we
hollow.
understand that there are certain glamours that people use
Come out of
often,
it,
so
be
we
fine.
want to look at those and try
Anyway,
to get those
back to
done,
Final Fantasy 14.
Can't go back to it now.
in terms of like which to get to. And
See, this is what we need to do
throughout
a
the
show
7.x
every week, Kex.
series is
It's
when
gonna
we
come
will
out with
address
somewhere.
the rest of the
Yeah, you're recording this,
previous,
Russell. Just use this in the show.
equipment or
I mean,
gear.
to be honest,
So
it could be used.
I'm afraid it
Just
will
rip the
take
audio from the stream.
at least
Yeah,
a few
go ahead.
years to address all of the different textures.
Actually, that is a really
あと
good idea.
NPC です今回ね
あー
プレイヤー
You're
の
welcome.
キャラク
I
タ
have 5 a
ー
year.
みんなクオリティアップするじゃんバーンって NPC 全員も無理だと思っていて70までには
Why did he just laugh like
The
Jabba
other
the
thing are
Hutt?
the NPCs. I know
Maybe
we
he
talked
maybe he's a
about
Star Wars
updating
fan.
the player
Just laugh-
characters
just laugh
and
like a One
the
Piece character.
graphics on those, but I'm afraid
No,
we're
no, no,
not
no, no,
going
no.
to be able to address all of the NPCs by 7.0.
Try
まあ
harder
申し訳ないんだが
Wow.
クオリティの高くなった NPC と
Unacceptable.
まだなんと順番が回ってこない NPC
But you realise the world is gonna end before 7.0 comes out?
それも許していただけると助かります
Chat is currently taking
So
over
I'm
4K 2B
Terribly
legging.
sorry to
What?
say this, but you may start seeing
What?
NPCs that have gone through the graphical updates and those that have not gone through the
Oh, no.
updates. But please, your understanding would be appreciated.
これをね全部やれって言うといやもうじゃあグラフィックスアップデートやめましょう
So someone gonna look better than others
なっちゃうんで
for a
ちょっ
short
と違う
while.
っていうのが出ちゃうタイミングがあるとは思うんですけどそれをやっぱり
Oh, 2B
承
from
認
the
していかない
okay.
といつ
Kyle
まで経ってもできないと思
Yeah,
っているのでちょっと許していただける
Infamous
と
voice
な
actor.
ので
Say
ちょ
Kyle.
っとイルベルドはまだ後でいいかみたいな
We know him as Kyle, 2B.
And if I were to tell my team that, okay, we need to do everything, then people are just going to throw in the towel and be like, no, this is impossible. So I'm afraid there will be times at which not all of the NPCs will have gone through their graphical updates and it might look a little disoriented or disjointed. But if I
What's
don't
that?
allow for that to happen, we won't be able to get to
Not
it.
all the NPCs
so
will work,
again, if you could forgive
updated
us
at the same
for
time.
What's that usually be?
going
You're not
through
putting
that,
your
that
entire
would be
development team through crunch hell to make
appreciated,
sure all NPCs are updated?
Uber might
Ooh.
No, so they're
not get
going
his
to have the
graphical update as
situation like
quickly as maybe
fucking
like the Sultana, but
あの
the
クレイジーアベレージ
Crusader
がっていう
Coliseum in Northern where like
結構あるんです
you've
よ
got you've got Garros,
残念な
Moto Garros next to Varian from Wrath
Yes.
and Jaina from
プレイヤー
BFA.
のなんだろうキャラメイクで作られてるん
That's fine.
で僕らが手を下さずともあいつ勝手にクオリティ上がってしまう可能性が高い
some people are asking, oh, but what about Telegy Adelegy? And I realize his
you say
expression
his name so
is
weird?
part of the parts that you can select
got a weird
when you're
name.
creating your character. So because we're
Next
updating
question.
the player character facial parts, Telegy Adelegy is
not
going to
Adelegy.
have his graphical updates already. So
Yes.
he
just said
he may be an exception to those NPCs.
Teleji Ala. Fuck, I can't say it now.
というわけでプレイヤーベース
Teleji
で組まれて
Aladeji.
るものは
I'm
ね
pretty sure it
必
was.
然的に
No,
そうなるん
Telegy
ですけど
Adeleji.
Adeleji, that was it, yeah.
7も
Got the
3
D
とかはね
Yeah,
やった方がいいかなとは思ってるんですけどちょっとまだ精査までは
Tell a friend.
しきれてないのでちょっとそういう状態が出るとは思うんで
It's
すけど
alright, there was some Fieri in some woman's head, so I just renamed him Guy
So
Fieri
yeah,
every
any
time I was on stream.
characters that
Guy Fieri in
are
Final Fantasy 14
built
confirmed.
based on
Yeah, he's in it. In
facial
raid
cards
content.
or body cards that are
He's ready for
available
Flavor
for
Town.
players to
It's a strange
utilize
crossover
will
raid, that one.
probably be updated
The Final Fantasy Food
simultaneously
Network
with
crossover,
like
not the
player
raids you
character
expected.
graphics.
But it's the raid you
But
deserve.
there are certain key
No.
NPCs that we're also looking at.
Oh, it is.
Maybe the
No one
Sultana,
deserves that.
but we
Man
have
versus
yet
food.
to
Let's
sort of
go.
assess.
Are you telling me you could look
and
around
we
and
will
looking
continue
exactly
to
like
sort of
Teleji?
explore
That's
the
terrifying.
options.
Hmm.
でまあちょっと今日お
I
見
mean,
せしたのは
I wouldn't dress up like that.
繰り返しになりますが
Everyone's gonna hate
テスト
you.
をスタートしてまだ1ヶ月ちょっとのデータなので、さらなるですねクオリティの向上に向けて他の種族も含めてですね
All we
テス
can
トを
agree
実
is
行していきます
his name is Tel.
いずれ装備とかもねこんな感じになるよというのもお見せできればと思ってます
But yeah, again, what we showed you was only about a month or so of testing.
so like a full Q&A cycle
we're
for
hoping
Blizzard.
to provide you with more updates as they come in. Perhaps the other races, perhaps we can provide
Am I
you
wrong?
with gear, etc. In
What are you talking about? Blizzard would have been done with their Q&A an hour and a half ago.
そうだな
Not even announced yet. QA's done, mate.
結構コメントであったんですけ
Is it
ど
done? 'Cause they're all in the car park with
装備の
picket
干
signs
渉
again.
なんとかしてほしいあれは正直どうにもならないです物理エンジンを入れて計算でかわすしかないんですけどそれをやるとやっぱ動かなくなっちゃうと思うのであとやっぱり装備の干渉を許可してる僕が、もういいとこれは割り切ってくれ言ってるから今のペースでそのアセットギアが報酬が装備がリリースできてるっていうところもあるので努力はしますが根本的にオフラインのゲームのようにはならない
Oh, it's actually kind of scary when it smiles. Oh, I don't like
And
that.
I'm also seeing comments
I
about
gotta scroll up a bit,
can
so
you
I'm
do
not looking
something
at that.
about like gear
The turtle
or
is more
equipment
pleasing.
or like player characters like body parts interfering with the graphics of gear equipped gear, and I'm afraid that is something that we cannot address fully. We would have to put in a physics engine in there, and that would cause for some of the characters to kind of not move properly anymore. And plus, I, as the director, have allowed for those imperfections to my team. I'm afraid we're just moving on with it, or else we won't be able to keep the pace in releasing these different gear and the different designs that is available. So I'm afraid we are unable to address it fully to match something that of a standalone game. Sorry.
さあでは次はですねちょっと BG マップに関わるところもテスト1ヶ月ちょっとのサンプル持ってきました
Okay, we have more samples though. This time it's for various backgrounds and like map elements.
Okay.
まずこれは単純に、テクスチャーとかに何も手を入れずに、配置できるライトの数を増やすっていうテストのサンプルです。
So this first image is a test of just simply the number of lights we can place in a certain scene without it touching any of the textures or surfaces.
配置ライト数をですね、複数増やすとこんな感じになります。
So we just added a few more lights in a particular scene, and what you see is in the right side of the image.
ライトがですね、遠くに左側ね、一灯しか焚けないので、ちょっと見てほしいのは、手前側にあるデスクに影がほぼ落ちてないのが、右側複数ライトによってちゃんと影が出るようになってるでしょ。
So if you look at the one on the left, we were only able to place one light source in the scene, but in the picture on the right, we were able to place multiple lights to give it a more realistic look. And as you can see, the desk is now casting a shadow.
まあ当然分かりやすく上の方にライトさらに1灯追加されているので、まああそこまで作り込んでたのにライトが当たらないことによって全部黒で潰れちゃってたのが、まあしっかり見えてくるようになるので、これね多分プレイじっくり見ていないとというか受ける雰囲気が変わるのでこれによって。
Yeah, that's nice.
And of course, I think one of the key changes that you can see is because we were able to place a light directly on top, you're able to see some of the details.
That's a big improvement.
Kind of hidden behind the shadow.
Being able to see versus not.
Allowing for more lights to be placed, it will
using the most extreme example
of some of the atmosphere and some
yes, that fictional superhero.
で、さらにですね、こちら今の現在の状態のティターニア。
Marvel.
Next, you see Titania in their current state.
Patch notes and desks have shadows now.
シャドウです。シャドウのテスト
Ray tracing when?
します。
That's Titania.
So this is where we tested out how shadows appear.
影に使ってるテクスチャーの解像度と計算を
Well, I mean, your main complaint, firstly, originally with Final Fantasy was it looked dull. So I mean, this does address
So
that.
this is where we
It's not the
tested
Titania
the
fight.
texture as well as the calculation
Literally a
formula behind
rainbow of
how
colours
we're,
before. What's
displaying
it
the
gonna be
shadow
now?
underneath Titania.
That-
And we believe that we were able to improve
That's
the
just one phase.
quality and the resolution up to what you see on the right image.
In before the
さらにですね
transition
これ
is just like a
普通ライ
flash
ト
of
も置いて
rainbow
みてるん
colors
で
across the screen. You're like, ah!
今の14だと左の環
Transition
境
just
しか
makes
作
you
れないんですけ
literally
ど
blind.
複数ライトをさらに
Yeah,
カラ
the
ー変えたり
shadows
していくこと
are
で
slightly sharper, but
右
it
の
does
よう
just
に
kind
ね
of look like a
か
filter's
なり
been
複
put
雑
across
な
it.
ライティング
Yeah,
の
just
絵作
using
り
those
ができてい
Instagram
くこと
filters,
にな
man.
ります。
That's the reason people use them.
And as you can see,
To get
we
views.
have multiple lights
Yes.
again.
And what does
in
this want? Views.
Updated picture.
Titania?
And then plus
Definitely
we
not.
put some color
Titania wants
lighting.
views.
So the background is exactly the same.
She wants
and
to be
it was
witnessed.
actually quite intricately built, but by having
Oh, so she's got a
these
voyeur
different
fetish.
sort of lighting available to shine on it, you can see the complex details
Don't
that
fucking
was part of
kink
the
shame.
structure.
ちなみにこれ左のティタニアのストーリー的には左の雰囲気がいいなって言ってるコメントがあるんですけど、
はい
実はこ
Guess
の
the
状
colors
態
are
を
coming
さ
through
ら
the
に
stained
グレー
glass
ドアッ
windows.
プさせた
Yeah, I mean, it makes
バー
sense
ジョンを
where they're coming
BG
from.
チーム作ってきたんですサンプルとして
ほうほう
ただ開発者目線で見ないと分かんないからラ
what
イ
does
ト
that
の
look
色
like
を
in
赤と
motion?
かにして
Question
複数ライトが混ざってるっていう環境を作ってくれって言って僕がわざわざデザイナーがセンスよく統一してきたものをバラしたんで
なるほど。
デザイナーのセンスじゃないのでこれね僕のプレゼン用だと思ってくださいデザイナーの名誉のために言っておき
デ
ます
モ用ですね。
はい
Are they?
One thing I do want to clarify because somebody
Absolutely.
pointed out
Based on-
they liked the look
Kexman is
of
the
the original Titania.
Based on
where
Kexman only
it
paying
has
attention
that
when
sort of
Endwalker released, then that
mood
was an
with all
expansion.
the muted colors. Yoshida
So?
wanted to, I want to point out that
Based on nothing.
this is
Can't just dismiss
the
historical precedents.
developers actually brought to me an example of what improved graphics would look like with that.
I'm pretty sure we
within the
established
color
between
palette of the
patches and
original
expansions they are
picture,
very different
but
things
that's
in a previous
very much
session.
in the developer's perspective, and
I just think
I
stuff in
wouldn't
motion,
be, I wouldn't
like,
be able
showing
to
pictures
tell
is
the
great, but it
difference of
doesn't-
what has improved. That's why I had requested my designer to intentionally place red lights, something that's more obvious, just to show an example. So don't worry, this is not what we're trying to do. We're not trying to like destroy the
Oh, well, the
atmosphere.
Russians are.
The designer was very mindful about keeping the tone of the story, but I
Trying to destroy
wanted
things
a
artistically.
more like overt
Oh, trying to destroy the
example. So
atmosphere.
just wanted to clarify that.
でここでちょっとね特に注目してほしいのが
Think in
画面
motion.
右の奥、上の方に見えてるステンドグラスのあたりをちょっと見ていただきたいんですけど
And one part that I do want to point out, if you look at the upper part of the image, where the stained glass is,
これ左と右マップのポリゴンは何も変わらないんですねテクスチャー解像度も変わってないです、
so just reiterating that we have not changed any of the polygons that are in the map layout. We did not improve any of the textures here.
なのでライトを変える複数置けるようになるだけで実は BG アーティストたちがこだわって作っていた箇所っていうのがより明確にちゃんと見えるようになるんですよ左は全部影で潰れてるんですけどもともとちゃんと凹凸あるんですね
And so this is what I'm trying to show with this image is that
No,
by
Shadowbringers.
being able to
That's even
place
newer than I
multiple
thought.
lights in the
Shadowbringers
scene, we are
base
able to
content though, so it's not
showcase
even
the
patched. So
details
it'd be the
that our
early Shadowbringers. So it'd
background
been made
artists
during
have put
Stormblood sort of thing, you
into
know.
the structure. So above these stained glass, you might see these sort of like tiered sort of molding on top, and the picture on the left, it makes it
Titania, what are you
unnoticeable
molding?
because it's kind of drowned in the shadows. So
player base.
by being able to place multiple lights, we're able to accentuate those details that our background team has put into the structure.
Still impressive seeing differences light can make to the same image. Oh yeah, yeah, like a bit of lighting change to make all the
めっ
difference.
ちゃ喜んでました
おー
So when we were talking about adding multiple lights, the background team definitely had a very strong reaction to that.
よかった。
さあで次はですね、こちらは金属表現を、その質感を上げますというサンプルになります。
So next sample we want to show you is how we depict like the texture of the metal.
We don't.
こちらもですね、デザイナーの趣味というよりはですね、
Peacemakers
好きなぐらい
You
変えてく
stay
れって言
shiny.
ってるので、
You
それをご承知
you
おきくださ
stay
い。
shiny.
And of course, this again is supposed to be an example, and so I
Fancy
asked
still
my
doesn't have
designer
something that
to
exercise
make it
content,
very
Doesn't seem
gaudy
Peacemaker
at this point. So please understand, it is not necessarily the designer's choice.
Gold.
まあ、もともとやりたかったけど、シェーダーがなくてできなかったの
Eldorado
で、まあ、これぐらい
I mean, it
ゴールド
certainly
をちゃんと、
Looks more
The textures
gold
look- the
textury.
やっていきますよ。
Yeah, the textures look better.
It certainly
So up
exists.
until now, we didn't have the
Again,
proper
without seeing
shaders
the
to
emotion.
apply, but
That's-
we would love
You're not
to
gonna see
look at
emotion.
the look
That's it.
of,
That's how you're gonna see it in
surfaces.
game. It's
For
still.
example,
It's a
gold
building.
here.
That is.
I like how there'd be like a contractor that comes to
Baba
Kexman,
Yaga's house.
show him an example of what the build's gonna like. It's like, well, and when I see emotion,
Yoshida's house,
I'll get better
You just shake the plan side to side.
it's now
今ま
I
で
see.
我々が左を
With
金だと
the
する
fact
ん
that
で
you've got gold and you've got
Eh.
refractions,
なんかもう
you've
ブラ
got
スに
like
し
the
か見えない
reflections of the metal.
Yeah,
If
actually,
you're
we
moving
trusted
around
left
that
side
and the
screen is
reflections don't
gold
change at any point,
up until now,
it
but
look
now
terrible.
only
Right,
Like
okay.
they're showing off the lighting
Okay,
on this new
but-
text.
But
まあ、こういう
Okay, but
形で金属の
see if you look at the bottom
質感
there,
強化っていうのもやっていきます。まあ、これはね、
look at
と
that
ても
sort
わ
of
かりや
like
すい例じゃない
plinth
かな
that's
と思
right
い
there.
ます。
That's like a player height compared to this. So
Thank you for that. But yeah, again, we were trying
Sorry, I
to
just still can't get the
make
image of the
improvements
contractor
to
moving the image left and
material
right for the
qualities or the look of metallic
That better-
surfaces.
yeah, much better. I can see it now.
さらにですね、続いて
Point was
は、
valid. Fuck
マ
you.
ップに使えるメモリっていうのも
All points are valid.
上限を
It's once they built it though, Kex is like, okay, now it needs to move, and he's like, what? It needs to. I need to see it. I need to see it in motion, and the guy's like,
And next
hold on,
was
earthquake.
to look at
I just
the
put on
memory
roller skates again to
resources
slide me around
allocated
the
to
top.
rendering a particular area on a map. And I'm
Then when you're
looking
done,
to
you're like,
raise
"It's
that
not quite
sort
right."
of cap so that we can place more objects
this took 4
in a particular field.
まあ、これ左側が現在よくちょっとマトシャと出会ったりするところですけど、こんな感じになってます。これ現在ですね。
So the left side, you may remember your first encounter with Matsuya.
yeah.
でそれがですね、今回こ
Then
の
that's
ぐらい
Dunkurk,
まで
you
はい
didn't
け
pay
るだろう
attention.
と。
It's the same picture.
And with testing,
No, it's not.
we
Duncan, you'd
are
be
seeing
terrible in
that
the
we
spot the difference
possibly
pictures if you
place
think
more
that's the same
objects
picture.
like these.
It added some
左と
barrels.
比べ
A
てですね、
ship
やっ
came
ぱ
in. Well
ま
done.
ず注目点としては、その
Yeah, well, it's not the same picture then, is it? Again, you'd be terrible in spot the difference.
それぞれ素材違いをしかもこう組み合わせで、
some barrels
ずらして配置したりすることによってこう使い込まれ
The
た感と
pots
か
are there
を
in
出
both
せていける。
pictures.
この
What
あ
are
た
you
りは
talking
ね
about?
実はすごく大きいと思います。
うん
And so in the left, you may notice that it's just a repeat
It's the same
layered
picture.
on,
What do you want?
It's not the
repeat
same.
layered on top of each other.
It's the
But
same
in
picture.
the
What would you
updated
want?
graphics, you
Duncan.
can see that
They've turned a
we are
box into a
able to
stack of
place
sacks. It's still the same thing.
objects
Have
not
they changed
exactly
the Mercedes car
like
from last year?
on top of each other, but like you can
No.
shift it by a little bit. It'll
See, that's
allow
a lie,
for a
'cause I
more
know they have.
realistic depiction
haven't.
of the area has been
God,
used.
can he not tell the
So
difference between
this
two
is
different
actually
things?
quite,
See, he like lost the
honestly, like,
ability to
the
tell the
immersion.
difference between things.
であとはその
Duncan, we're a little bit worried about you. Maybe you should go see a
床の上
doctor.
にもう一枚テクスチャーを重ね
Well, they
て
haven't
ブレンドさせることでですね、床のこう
Imagine if they build like a new road and close off an old one on his bus route. Do you think he'll just like not see the new road and just continue down?
It
all happened when he fucked his car into that hole.
Oh God, have you been to the doctor's, Duncan?
And
You
then
might
the floor
something might have
or the
happened.
ground,
That's what happened.
With the
It broke
graphical
him.
update, we'd be able to add
Broke
another
him.
layer on top to give
made
it
it
more
worse.
texture.
The hell did I hit?
And kind of blend it in.
hole,
so,
apparently.
like cracks in the ground.
Did it hit me?
Previously, we wouldn't have enough
Apparently.
memory, so
Hole in
we
the road
would
and
just
a
have
hole
to
in his
place
psyche.
one giant floor.
Don't worry, Victor.
and
We're
deal with it.
we're
But,
making sure that we
with
know
the
that he's
graphical
wrong.
updates, I think we'll be able to improve on
That's the same
the
picture. What
texture
are you talking
quality as well.
Literally
そ
the
してです
same
ね、
thing.
続いてからちょっと BG でお知らせする最後になるんですが
There's so many different
Next is,
things.
I believe, the last set of
Don't-
samples that I've
ground
seen
is
for the
fucking
background
Your,
elements.
your mind's just filling in things that
こ
aren't
ちらで
there.
す我々開発チーム最大の
Don't go, go.
敵
You should go see a
自動産って呼ん
doctor.
でる
I
やつ
think, my dude, I'm worried about you.
So this is
That was the human
one of
mind.
our
You know the way that
arch
human,
nemesis,
like
I
the
should
human
say.
mind
These are like these
tries to find
automatically
faces in it? You guys are
generated
just trying to find it.
graphs.
told you there's
こ
different
れが
guesses.
ですね、カ
Let me
ット
guess,
シーン
Dunkurk,
の
there's
チェ
gonna
ッ
be
クを
no
やってるとですね、
difference.
割り込んでくるんです
He's
よ。
like
自動で
he's that guy from
剥がされるん
fucking
で
Mallrats. I can't see the boat in the
作った
picture.
スタッフの時に入ってなかったんでしょうけど、
Don't assume you know
僕が
what
チェッ
I'll
ク
do.
する時は
You
入
don't
って
know
です
me.
ね、このジャギジャギがすごい入ってくるんですよ、カメラに。
Are they going to show up the Skyrim grass models?
This is
Oh,
so,
oh, let's
it
see.
takes away from cutscenes when it
I'm going to
it
say no
barges in.
because
I'm sure
Skyrim's just
when
like
the cutscene team is creating
some
the
hybrid abomination.
composition, they don't see the grass because this is just automatically
12K
generated after the
grass.
fact. But sometimes it's like so close up and it's so pixelated, and that pixelation it bothered me very much.
今回もね、実はちょっと裏話ですけど、
はい
まあエルピスでヘルメスにね、
うん
メーティオンにせがまれてエルピスの花をこう見せるシーン、夜空でね、あるじゃない。で、ヘルメスがこう仮面を外す。
They show a real picture. Yeah, Yoshida's just gone
なんと
outside and took a picture of like the lawn outside of Square. He's like, yep, this is what we're grading it to.
BG 班に頼んで、この
They're
辺も
not updating
草
the
生や
graphics,
らさ
they're
ない
just
ぜ
showing
っ
this
て
so that the fan base can go out and fucking
なる
touch
ほ
them.
ど。除草剤を撒いてしまったんですね。
Jesus fuck.
Careful,
one
Kexman.
behind the
Holy shit.
scenes comment I wanted to make when I was looking at the cutscene in Elpis. Sorry, spoilers, but Hermes when
Spoilers.
he's
Hermes
talking to
celebrity is
Meteon
Eorzea?
about, oh, I want to show you the flowers in Elpis, and he removes his mask, and the grass automatically generates. And it gets in the way. So I got so mad. I told the background team, like, can you make it so that you don't have grass being generated in this part of the ground?
で、それがですね、
Oh no, see, this one is
今まだ
different.
テ
There's
スト中ですが、
26.8
こんな感
million
じになり
polygons
ま
on
す
the。left, 1 million on the right.
But that will be updated, hopefully.
I mean, that does look
again, we're
better.
still testing, but this is a sample image of what it could look
Yeah,
like.
the Lalafell view has improved.
で、まあ種類もね、複数持てるようになるの
Lalafel's
で
a players too.
これね、
To fucking
草
hell.
原から上は何も手入れてないんですよ。
What do you mean? You are one.
全く今のままなんです
Yeah, who doesn't play the
こ
game?
んなに変わるんですよね。
No, Kexman, you're part of that
and
registered
plus
player
we
number.
are
You're
able
welcome.
to
Yeah.
generate, a variation of
Got 'em.
different grass.
Got him.
That's
or
it, you're forever a
plants,
Final
and
Fantasy
so
14
while we
registered player.
haven't
Yep.
added or modified
I can't wait
anything
to
in the
go from
background, like the
95
trees
FPS to 2
and
when I
the
turn
field in the
grass
background
on.
have not been
Kexman, just go
modified,
forward. I don't know where
the
forward is.
look of it is
Just lost in the grass.
different because
Just
of
turn
how we
grass
can
on and immediately your
process
graphics card
these automated
crunching.
grass.
これはですね、
From your point of view, it actually reaches 10 foot up. You're like, oh god.
行列まで全ての
あ、なるほど。
マップで自動で生えてる草が綺麗になります。
Turn grass on and you hear your PC
And for
trying to
this
take
update, we
off.
will be replacing the system
Just from
that
the grass.
generates these grass or plant life. And so this should be applied throughout all of the areas from A Realm Reborn
They
throughout
accidentally set something
Endwalker.
up where it tries to individually render each piece
さあ
of
では
grass in
バ
like
ックグラウンド
Every-
まだあるんですけど
But if it's anyone on the
ちょっ
PS4
とどんな表現バックグラウンドを上げていくかというのをお知らせしておきます。
Just smoke comes out of the
We've
side.
done
No,
various
they
other
turn
testing
grass
in
on
terms
the
of background elements,
They
but
turn grass
allow
on
me
in
to
the PS4
summarize
and it
again.
just goes,
まず先ほ
and
ど
just melts
3分前に言ってた
like
ライト配置数の追加
There's no, like,
質感凹凸表現
just
ね雰囲気の強
instantly
化というのが
reaches
これによって
melting point.
行われます。
So again, we are going to be doing additional lighting points. So improve
7.1, we're
visual
now
quality,
simulating
depth,
realistic
and
weather, making wind
immersion.
blow the grass around in
そ
real
して
time
で
with
すね
ray
影
tracing.
の高解
Oh
像とか
Christ.
影のテクスチャーを高解像度にすることでですねちらつかなくなったりですね影がよりメリハリが効くようになります。
And then higher resolution shadows. And so we'd be improving
0.1
the texture
FPS. Is that possible?
of the shadow
me
and
on
how
Mother
it's depicted
Shiraz
so
back in the
that
day.
it will allow for
Your mother Shiraz today.
like flickering, decreased flickering.
ちょっと嘆きの海のマップを思い出していただきたいんですけど、あそこ実は雰囲気を宇宙空間にするために、ライトの距離をすごい遠くして、
It's just so unnecessary.
全体の暗さをこう締めるようなことをやってるんですけど、結果そうすると影がものすごく長く表示されるんだけど、テクスチャー解像度が低いがゆえにすごいじらついたりボケたりする箇所が結構多いんですよ。ただ雰囲気を優先したんで我慢してたんですけど、そういうところもですねより綺麗にちらつかずに影が出てくるようになると思います。
Can't have
Because you would
Kexman's
recall
FPS on the
Mario
rats either,
and
apparently.
15 years
how
later, I'm
we
still
were trying
somehow
to
running
depict or make it seem like you're
Everything
out
else
of
is fine, but the
space,
second he hits
and
Mother
because that
Shrats, it's
the lighting
it's all
had been
it's
placed
the
in a
add-ons,
very
mate.
distant
You-
location,
fucking
so
rest of the
that
game
you
is
LVI shit.
emphasize that sort
The
of
rest of the game is running
darkness
at
that
60
surrounds
FPS
you.
as soon
Um,
as I pull Mother Shrats.
Because
It
of
just
that, whenever
tanks
you're on
down
the
to
moon,
1
your sort of your shadow gets to be very long, but because the
It's
shadow
one of the mechanics
textures
of the fight.
were not optimal, you would see frequent areas
Everything's
that
fine
would
as soon as I
cause
read that,
the shadows to flicker, or it could get blurry. So
Screen
with the
tearing
graphical
and
engine,
everything.
we're
Either Todd
hoping to
Kexman, you died
improve
like a minute
so
ago.
that those shadows would come out
Oh,
a
Christ.
lot crisper.
Oh, that's funny.
そして質感表現の向上です。これもシェーダーでですね、金属とか布とか、ま
Oh,
あ
I
そ
see
れ以
they
外
haven't
の
added
ちょっとシェーダーも
skin
今
onto
検
this one.
討してます。
Skins.
And then,
Not
of
yet.
course, improve textures, which includes metals, fabrics, and we're also trying to consider what other
Hey,
elements.
Dov, PowerPoint gaming was
can
very
be
important. It was a very important
そ
era
し
of
て最後
gaming.
にご覧いただいた自動配置植物の強化、高解像度にしたりですね、
TF2
あと
12 FPS,
植
man.
生種類を増やしたりしていきます。
It's easy to get headshots when everyone moves one
Lastly,
frame at a time.
more and better auto-generated
Some would call it
greenery, which is increased resolution, variety, and etc.
で画面全体にフィルター効果として非常に重要なアンビエントオクルージョンっていう機能だったりフォグいわゆる霧をこう重ねるみたいなそれをフォグって呼ぶんですけどこれらに関しては今テストをしてるんですけど
You have to wait for
まだちょっ
Yoshi
と
P to hit the
サンプルをお見
next
せできない
slide button.
状態です
Yeah, that's how you progress in the game.
And we're also considering other effects or filters that would apply to the overall screen, including ambient occlusion and fog effects. Now, those are still being tested, but we couldn't produce results that we can present at this time.
めちゃくちゃ雰囲気出るしめちゃくちゃクオリティ上がるんですけどやっぱ画面全体にパフォーマンスの影響を与えるものなので慎重にテストをしてしっ
Fog.
かりこれだったら大丈夫だろうその
Fog.
皆さんが極端に PC を買い替えたりとかしなくてもあとオプションでねちょっと切ることで
Imagine how murderous real-time ray tracing would be in the Crystarium. Oh,
ち
Christ.
ゃんとお見せできるまだちょっと1ヶ月じゃそこまではいけないのでまあただ
Ah,
これ
the
らも
Crystal
強化は
Tower.
していきますのでまた続報をね
Flame
お
starts
待ちいただけ
shooting
ればと
outside
思い
my
ます
computer.
And
Yeah,
we
let's go
totally
faster.
understand that it will give it a
Oh, Dov, did you
different
clip that
sense of
thing? Oh, the entire
atmosphere, or it would
thing.
really
You legend.
improve the mood if we
Thank
had
you.
those kinds of textures applied or those filters applied. But
That's
it
just going to
does
go in the
affect
folder of
the
fucking,
overall
like, just us
performance
three on
of,
stream. It just adds to the collection.
game. So we will need to test it very carefully for sure. So we
I don't
want
consent to
to
being in a folder.
explore our options, but we
Too
also
late.
want to make sure that we are at a state where we're comfortable. And
What I'm here is when you finish
not
updating the graphics, all
requiring for
computers
so
will
much
become
resources that
space
players would
heaters.
have to
Oh, it'd be great for the winter.
update their PC to an
So what you're saying
extreme,
is we should buy
or be
pensioners
able
Final Fantasy
to
14
provide an
subs.
option to shut it off if
It
you
would be
want
cheaper than the
to
heating bill.
Probably.
optimize your performance.
Technically, they're
So,
already space
I'm
heaters,
afraid
true.
we're not able to show you anything as of like
Someone
a
sounds
month or
like
so
someone
of
doesn't
testing,
have a
but we're
phase
hoping
code fucking
to
computer.
bring you updates further down the line. So yeah, if you
Phase
could please stay
code.
tuned for
Yeah,
that.
phase change. You know how the way a fridge
さ
works?
て
With
で
gases
は
and shit?
グラフィックス
You can do that
第
in
一
the
次グラフィックス
There's
ア
an
ップデー
LTT
トのまあ
video.
今日お伝えできる範囲としては
LTT それが
No, I thought you meant
コ
as
メ
in
ント
like
させてい
changing
ただき
reality.
ます
Oh yeah, that too.
Okay, so in terms of
That's
the
a different
graphical
computer.
updates and the preparations that we're making for it, I think is all that I have for today's presentation.
さあでは続いて、3つ目なんですが、まあ、引き続き多くのアップデートこれまでと変わらずですね適切なスケジュールでお届けしていきますよというお話です
Ah, doing the one thing Blizzard can't do.
So yeah, we will continue
Play their
to
own
provide
game.
regular updates on an appropriate schedule.
No, that
せっかくの
schedule
機
word.
会ということでですね、
はい
ちょっと
An
6.1
appropriate.
から 6.5 まで現状決まっているもの
They can
で
schedule.
お知らせできそうなものをお知らせしておこうと思います
Can they?
Yeah.
So I would like to share information that we know that we're going to have from 6.1 through 6.5.
まずパッチ 6.1 なんですけど、
Wow.
こちらねリリース
Somehow- yes, more Hildebrand!
皆さん4
Yes!
月には出します
How? Somehow.
So
No.
6.1
And Taru's grand endeavor.
series.
Oh, no.
I understand
Who's
that
Hildebrand?
it's still kind of
Hildebrand
hard to
is the
see
comedic
when
relief.
it's coming, but we are looking at April.
Hildebrand
at
is a
this time.
legend.
当然
Some
ですが
say.
メインクエストのアップデートっていうのは6.1から6.5
No,
まで
that's
新しい
the thing
冒
you're
険
thinking
をお
of.
届けしていこうと思ってます。
Not sure how you mixed them up.
Of course,
One's a real
part of those
person.
updates will include
And one is better than the other, yeah,
the
true.
updates
Hildebrand
to
is
the
much
main
better.
scenario. We will have a new story with each patch
You can't drive a
installment.
Formula One car,
そ
so
してですね
no.
全世界
Right,
が
you
帰
can
って
get
き
thrown
て
at
と
thrown
言
at
われ
a
てい
fucking
た
destructive world-ending moon and survive.
ついに帰還でございます。ヒルディ
So
ブ
could
ランド
anyone.
の行月編が始ま
It's
り
all
ま
about
す。
random chance.
Prove it.
Okay,
Of
find
course,
me a
we've
destructive
heard many
world-ending
people
moon.
ask for him to come
Alright.
back. This gentleman
Technically, anyone can be
extraordinaire,
destructive.
And then
Mr.
Exactly, yeah.
Hildebrand,
Give me a reason I
will
would want
be
to stop it
making his
destroying this
return.
shithole.
Oh no, no, no! I don't need to give you a
新しい
reason. That's not part of
サブクエスト
the
シ
deal.
リーズとしてですね、タタルの
No, it's not.
大繁盛商店というの
No,
が
I'm telling you to prove it, and you're putting all the
連
onus
続
on me.
と
You
して始ま
can't
り
do that. That's you.
Yeah, the onus is on you. You say
And
it's
then,
possible.
No, no.
of course,
No,
a new
no, no.
series of side quests.
I
named
can't make you
Tataru's
care.
Grand
That's not part of
Endeavor.
this.
ちなみ
No
に
one made them
ヒルディブラ
care.
ンドが最後に
Now you
目撃された
reaching
のは
beyond the
パッ
barriers
チ
there.
5.3 で実装され
Yoshi made you
た
care.
漆黒決戦ノルブラントで
Made me care
あ
about
の
it.
エリディブスによって召喚された中に確率でたまに出てくるんでね、あいつの ID の中に。あそこですね。
I would
最後に
love that,
されてるのは
This is how they're going to get NFTs in
I
the game.
believe the last
shut up.
Hildebrand, last time Hildebrand was seen was in patch 5.3,
You can head out. Have a
the
good night, Dolph.
Hero's Gauntlet. And this is a random occurrence, so you may or may not have seen him. But when you are doing your Warrior of Light battle, he is one of the people that is summoned.
さあ、どんな冒険とかね、珍道中になるの
Wait,
か、ぜひ楽しみにお待ちください。
But yeah, we hope you enjoy whatever
He's one of the people that was summoned.
odd adventures that he gets into.
まあ、どんどんいきます。パチ
I don't know,
6.1
Farsi,
まだ
you
ま
played
だあ
the
ってです
story, you
ね
tell me.
アライアン
Confirm
スレイ
Primal.
ド、ミソロジー・オブ・エオルゼア、12子にまつわる物語ですね。
Myths
スター
of
ト
the
しま
realm,
す。
crystalline conflict, new
Continuing with
PvP.
patch 6.1 updates, we will have our Alliance raid, Myths of the
Soldier quest,
Realm,
tribes, and
part
dailies.
1,
Dunkirk.
implemented. This is going
Unreal
to
Engine confirmed.
delve into
yeah,
or
there
touch
is.
upon the
Dragon's Reprise, new ultimate duty for
mythos
oh
of
Heaven
the
Sword
12
Ultimates.
gods.
Probably then.
そして新 PVP のクリスタルコンフリク
Ultimate's
ト
Bane
というのが、スタートして、
Is
バンゾ
Unreal
ククエスト
gonna be their version
あるか
of
そう
trying to
だ
be
ら
mythic?
続編があって、ゼツ
I
は本当
don't
お
know.
待たせしました。レイド大好き勢、本当お待たせしたんですが、最新ゼツリリー
Yeah,
スします
they've watched all the top WoW raid guilds come into the game and
And so
absolutely shit
next
kick their
is
hardest
the
content
new
into the ground
PvP,
every
the
day.
Crystalline Conflict.
And they've went,
We will
huh,
have a new
there's a
Beast
market for
tribe
this.
quest, or like a new tribal quest.
So they've went, fuck it, we'll make one raid and see how it goes.
Arkasudara tribe quest.
They
in their
basically turn
dailies,
around and going,
then, a
"Oh,
new
you thought that was
ultimate
easy? Well, you have not
content.
actually
Thank you so
seen our
much
final
for your
form."
patience.
Here we
Our
go.
new ultimate duty will be
I
implemented
can't wait
as
for
of
what is made. Fuck
6.1.
you, difficulty.
ゲームはね、アルテマになりますが、もうバランスチェックも終わっていて、結構むずいですよ。
And of course, we will finally be reopening the Unreal battles. Ultima's Bane will be what's coming for the next battle. We are currently testing this out, but it's quite challenging.
アルテマウェポンってもともと
Okay,
結
so
構
it's the one
初期
above,
に
it's
時間の
the
ない中
difficulty
で作
above
られてい
Savage
て
then.
IL が結構みんな上がってるんで
Maybe.
いろいろギミック無視できたりとか、被弾してもそんなになんですけどレベル90でバランス取り直してきっちりアイテムレベル確定させたらねやっぱ面白いしやりごたえあるなこれって感じでした
Well, Farsi, you play the game.
Of course, when we first designed the Ultima Weapon fight, it was done in a rush. And then by now, I think people have raised their item level. So even if you take damage, it's not as bad. But with the Unreal battles, we have adjusted the boss fight so that it matches that of a level 90 player. So, and we've kind of finalized the item level. So testing it out, I enjoyed it. It was a very interesting battle, and it's very
the same as
challenging
Savage.
for sure.
But it's
でも今ちょっとコメントであったんだけ
Turned
ど
up to 10.
蛮族クエストっていう蛮族っていう呼び方やめたいなっていうコメントがあって確かにそうだね
They made old stuff and made it
ちょっ
like
と考
challenging.
え
Yeah.
直そうメ
yeah, like
モっ
you'd
と
have
い
to
て
count
もらっていいか
auto
しら
attacks
はい
to
4
set
変えてい
yourself
き
as
ま
a
しょう
tank buster.
There was a comment about
Okay.
the Beast Tribe quest, and it seems to not be very favorable to call it that. I know we're trying to shift it to say tribe quest, or like we're just calling it by the tribal name in the English, but we are going to try to figure out a better way to phrase it.
そして絶なんですけど、
はい。
まあめっちゃ調整続いてるんですけど、
お
多分一番難しいと思うんで、やる方は覚悟をしておいてください。
And I want to backtrack a little bit to the ultimate duty, the new ultimate duty, and we're balancing right now and making adjustments, but it's quite difficult. So if you're up for a challenge, that's fantastic. But yeah, it's going to take some. It's going to again be challenging.
絶は 6.11 かな。
ほうほう
Oh, I'm sorry. Ultimate would be not 6.1 but 6.11. So it might. It's
I
probably
don't like
not
the
at the
patch
same time
numbering
as the
Final
major patch.
Fantasy.
まあメイン
It's
シ
the
ナリオはや
worst
っぱり
part.
ハウジングの抽選に応募したりとか
そう
すると思うので、
6.11
2週間空けて出す予定かな。はい。
We
We
already have been
are hoping
spoiled by
that
this very,
players
very
would enjoy
simple
the main
0.1,
scenario
0.1,
first,
0.5,
and then
0.2,
6.1 is also
0.2.5.
when we open up the Ishgard
Yeah,
housing.
which-
So I'm sure people
Ishgard
will
housing.
sign up for like
6.1.
to-
housing plots.
We need to be ready.
So, we're going
Don't
to
go back to the vanilla system
wait
of like
2
1,
weeks after the launch of the
1.11,
major patch, and then
1.12,
release the
1.15,
ultimate duty.
1.185.
まだまだあ
I'm
っ
still
てですね、
gutted that the,
6.1。さっきお伝えし
PTR
た
Ultimate available in
メインクエスト
packs
ID の
6.111111.
やってそれ以外の
0.1
あの
0.1
今ちょっとグラフィック
I'm
スの
still
調整
I'm still
とか
gutted that the
いろいろや
PTR
って
didn't
ます。
leave us with the update builds for
So
2069.
continuing on with the 6.1
longer.
series updates.
Trust system for Realm
So
Reborn
the
on
main
6.2.
quest, sorry,
New
the trust
calling
system
card
for
style
A Realm
UI.
Reborn patch 2.0 main scenario dungeons.
Custom
New
deliveries.
hairstyles for
そして
Oscar.
新しいリワードシステムとしてですね、
What's the custom
キャラクターカードっていうのの、システム実装が、
Ishgard housing.
ドーンと始まります。
And then a new calling card style UI. So this is going to be a new reward type system that we plan to start implementing.
Oh, okay.
まあこの辺の
Oh, good,
詳
that's
しい
what
内容は
Final
ね
Fantasy 14 needs more rules.
3月4日からの
Yeah.
またパッチ 6.1 特
Why
集
are you saying that,
あの
like-
パート1パート
It's like,
2
oh, they want to give me more things? Fuck.
Fuck games for reward. Let's
2
continue personal where you get fuck all.
So for this calling card style UI, this is something that we'll cover in our next two
It's okay,
letter
Kexman.
live
Blizzard aren't
letters.
here.
There's
They
one
can't hurt you now.
definitely planned on
They
March
can't
the
hurt you,
4th, and we'll do like a 6.1.
They can't roll you a ring you've
feature,
already had
part
4
one
weeks
and
in a
part
row.
two. So we'll delve
Yeah,
into
all those
details
3
at
items
that
in your
time.
vault that you had,
So
which you
next
already
item
all,
would be
which you
new
have on your character
hairstyles
already.
for
Don't.
Hrothgar.
Don't.
Thank you so much.
And
for
then
your
there you
patience
go.
on
Stop
this.
complaining about new rewards, Kexman.
そしてハウジング、イシェガールドハウジングが
Point
秋、
proven.
お得意様取引はなんとアルフィナ・アリゼのお母様であるアメリアンス
I
Maybe
saw
the
that
vault
tweet.
should reward cosmetics.
The next two items is the opening of
Exclusively.
Imperium or Ishgard housing,
No
and
gear
then
upgrades.
custom deliveries. You
Cosmetics,
get to meet
pets,
with
pets,
Alphino and
music tracks.
Alize's mom, Amelians.
Oh.
まあ
Okay.
新
But
PVP
we've already met their
ですか
mom.
まあ、またちょっと PLL で詳しく言いますけど、6.15 を予定してます。はい。
We had a question about when is the new PvP going to go live. Again, we'll cover this in the
It's not.
upcoming other PLLs, but we are looking at 6.15 timing.
That's
for that.
6.15 or
まあそれ以外にもで
6.151.
すね、透滅戦など多数のものが、
Who asked about PvP?
あんまり言えないですけど、ありますんで、ぜひご期待ください。これ
Someone in the
こ
chat?
こまでが、まあ、6.1 のざっくり概要です。はい
And of course, new trials. We can't say what,
can't have
but other
PvP without
assorted
PP.
updates are planned for the 6.1 series.
Okay.
そして続いて 6.2 ですがこんな感じになってて、
See.
まあ、一番の注目はやっぱりお知らせしていた、無人島開拓が 6.2 からスタートになります。
So next up is the
Oh, there's the
6.2
Island Sanctuaries.
series. This is one of the large, like the
it's gonna debug.
anticipated content, I believe, is the Island Sanctuary. That's when we're going to start opening this up.
昨日全体を一通りチェックしましたけど、めちゃくちゃでかいんで規模。だいぶね、組み上がってるんで、もう。
Uh,
I don't know.
I had the opportunity to check
Was it?
the overall sort of content yesterday,
it sounds like the
and
kind of like
it's
bullshit
quite
made up
large
word that
scale,
game studio would have
but
used
I
in
think it's
Narrow
coming
Defense.
along nicely.
Oh, they were swallowed by
また
you.
ちょっと今
あ
日は時間がないのであれですけど、詳しく説明する機会は取ろうと思いますが、基本的には
Exactly
外
the
の
path
世
of
界
an
と
early
全く
2000s game dev
異な
studio.
るそこだけで完結できる遊びになってますし、
Oh,
まあ
that's
ゆっくり
unfortunate.
本
By
当
the
に
way,
ゆるく
just
やれる
below
の
me
で
for people who can't see, it says plus Pandemonium, Fox Hollows, Other Trials, and more.
So I'm afraid we don't have the time
Oh,
to
they
cover
also
it
made Star
today,
Wars
but
Battlefront 2.
we will take the time at another opportunity so that we can explain the details of this. But
The
it
new
is
one or
going
the
to
old one?
be a
New one.
different sort of
Mm.
area that you can enjoy, and it's a very self-contained sort of
Probably better
content that
that
you
they
can
die.
enjoy.
でまあ2.X
Out of a video
残り
game.
新生オルゼアの 2.X シリーズのメインクエスト ID を全部対応し、想定編にも突入します。あとは武器強化コンテンツの新しいシリーズをスタートしますとかですね。
So going back to the earlier bullet points, we will be applying the trust system for the 2.x main scenario dungeons, maybe partially into Heavensward. It says here
ああそうだ、もうね多すぎて入れてないんですけど、ミラプリの拡張もね 6.1 から第1弾始まるんで言っときます。そういうの
よかった。
Oh, we also want to mention we will be expanding on glamours.
Hey.
Glamour ミラプリのごめんなさい、ミラプリはグラマープリズムの方でしょうか。
ね
言えない感じですか。
第1弾はプレート増やすをやっていく、まず第1弾。
Glamours, though.
So glamour related updates. I'm sorry, I wasn't sure how to phrase it, so I squeezed it out of Yoshida-san. We will be addressing and expanding upon glamour plagues as part of the first glamour related updates
Glamour
in 6.1
plagues?
series.
まあちょっと全部書ききれないけど、いつもの討伐透滅戦のノーマルと極があるとかいうのは、まあいつも通りやっていくので、まあその辺は書かれてなくてもあると思ってもらえると助かります。
And of course, we will have whatever content that you can expect in a patch update, so like new trials, etc. It's not written here because we couldn't fit it all in the slides, but yes.
収納数増やすトライもしてるから、ごっそりどっかのタイミングで増やします。
And we're also looking at like how to expand upon like the number of sets stored. So we're hoping to find an opportunity to do that update, like not an overhaul, but like an update on that as well.
そしてですね、さりげなく書かれてる新しいこの 6.2 から新しいバトルコンテンツ、タイプが全くこれまでと違うコンテンツを今開発中です。
And then the fourth bullet point, it's just kind of snuck in there as part of like the updates, but it's a new thing that we're trying to do. It's a dungeon with variable difficulty.
これ難易度可変ダンジョンって今開発コードネームなんですけど、1人から4人でチャレンジできて、1人で行く、2人で行く、3人で行く、4人で行くっていうので、自動的にそれに合わせて難易度がコントロールされるっていうチャレンジ型のコンテンツになります。
And so the code name that we're using here is like Criterion Dungeons, but so you can attempt this with 1 to 4 people, and what makes it variable is that if you go in, depending on the number of people you go in with, so 1 person, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, the difficulty sort of varies. It will automatically scale, so it's like a content where players can sort of challenge
But you can still
themselves.
flexi a normal raid, right?
まあこちらも組み上がっては来てるんですけど、まだ
No one does.
調整いろいろチェックやってたりするんで、まあ 6.2 に近づいてきたら
But like
しっかり
there's
特集していきたい
an
と思い
optimum
ます。
number that people have worked out and they just do that, right?
It is coming along nicely, but and we're
it used to
still
be,
performing
but
checks
it's
on the content. So please stay tuned for new information as we as they become available when we can talk about
Like some
6.2.
people still, they still feel like they're still
そ
like,
して 6.3 になるとですね、メインクエストの ID フェイス対応が想定編をここで完了させる予定で
Probably
す。
matters at like a 0.4% chance.
And then moving into 6.3,
Yeah, exactly.
so
Which
we
matters.
continued to add more
Numbers.
trust NPCs.
Number
We
1.
should be able to
It's number 1.
address the remaining main scenario
sorry,
instanced
that's not number
dungeons
1.
in Heavensward.
でかいのはですね、世界中からですねディープダンジョンシリーズの新しいのがやりたいという、お声をたくさん頂戴していたので、今企画をやっている最中です。6.3 で、ディープダンジョン
So
シリ
this
ー
is
ズ
the
の第
content
3
they're
弾
putting in, like
実装予定です。
minus all the main story stuff, obviously.
And
So
then players from around the world
Oh,
had
good, no
asked
story,
about
fuck.
when do we get a new deep dungeon?
you're playing the wrong game.
And so we are
I'm currently
in the
playing
planning phases at this time. We're hoping
still stand by what I
to
said.
launch the third in the series of deep dungeons
doesn't sound like
at
RuneScape.
6.3 series timing.
そしてですね、すでに、開発スタートして進んでるんですが、Z シリーズの第5弾を、6.3 でリリース予定です。
No, YouTube's on
And then
another monitor,
we are
not
already
another
starting to
Windows
make
tab.
plans for this,
Twitch.
but we do
No, that's
intend
on
on
the same
adding
monitor
one
as
more
YouTube.
ultimate
RuneScape
duty. So this will
database.
be the fifth one in the series.
No, it's the RuneScape wiki, and
そ
that's
してで
built
すね、
into the Rune Light
6.2 で
client.
リリースされた、無人島開拓のアップデートももちろん行っていきま
4 different
す。
Chrome windows open.
And then,
on
of
4 different
course,
monitors.
because we will
Never mind
be
the Chrome
opening
one.
up
Remember when I
the
had
Island
Switor open in one
Sanctuary as
window,
of
RuneScape in one, and
6.2,
WoW in another?
at 6.3 series timing, we will continue to update it.
So if you queue in
で、
all
まあ、
of the
4と
games you
5
can
はちょっ
queue
と
in,
パッチ
then you play
6.4 と
RuneScape
5
on
は
the
ま
side.
とめての
Eventually
ご
a
紹
queue
介
will
にな
pop.
っちゃいますが、
You won't be able to do it
と
because you're
5
currently
で
doing barrels
グレン
runs
編
in
のメイン
RuneScape.
クエスト ID の
The
フェ
queue's
ス
gonna
タイ
get
ル
in
を
the way
全
of
部
that.
終わらせて、まあ、これで、
So
ス
you
トー
leave
リー
the
上
queue.
に登場
Just
す
like
るアイテムが、
awesome Blood
全
Main
部対話
Scenarios,
終わる
Citrine
予定で
Dungeons
す。
2 and 3.
And then next,
Dunkurk,
next page covers both.
So they're putting a lot into
6.4
that
and
additional
6.5
that island
series.
sanctuary stuff thing because
But
it's in
by
like
this
all
time,
3 patches, just adding more and more.
aim to
I don't know, it's
complete
risky
the
business
trust
for an
system
MMO to announce island
implementation
content.
into
And
Well, that's
all
where you do the
four
farming,
mod
though.
main series scenario.
Oh yeah,
main
because the Heart
scenario
Farm from
dungeon
Valley of the Four
series.
Winds would
And
really
so that
improve
should get through
islands.
all of Stormblood.
No, they'll do it better.
で、難易度可変ダンジョンと呼んでる
Bold
新しい
assumption
バトル
based
コ
on
ンテンツシリーズの第2弾とか第3弾も入れていきますし、無人島開拓の開拓エリアを追加したりっていう予定ももう
Can't be anywhere.
まあ当然ね、我々長期計画で進んでるので予定されてます。
Faction.
And then, of
100%
course,
can be.
our Criterion
not challenge
dungeons
them.
will see
Yeah,
an
yes.
update. We should have
Blizzard
numbers
have
2
one
and
expansion
3
left to go.
implemented.
Don't
And
challenge
then
them.
for Island
Wait, what, before they
Sanctuary,
shut down? What?
at this time we want to expand upon
Probably.
the area, so we'll have an additional area.
でですね、例えば青魔同士のレベルキャップをどのタイミングにする、解放をどのタイミングにするのとか、そういう状況を見ながら調整しているものに関してはどうしてもまだ言えないので、それらもちゃんとどっかのタイミングでやっていきますんで、
No, he's not.
またそれぞれでですね、パッチのこう
No,
特集
you're
を
not.
お待ちいただけ
I've
れ
said it
ば。
multiple times. If the next
I know you've said it
やら
multiple
ない
times.
と
You
か
say a
いう
lot
わ
of
けじゃない
things, but no,
書
you're
か
not.
れてないものはね、まだ
Wow.
詰め切れてないものはちょっと言えない
I don't believe that
まあ
you
この
will.
辺りはもう全部確定しているので。
I don't believe in
Obviously,
Santa Claus, but
please.
it doesn't
I'm
affect the
sure
other
some of
people.
you might be wondering about, okay, when is the next time the Blue Mage is going to have their level cap increased? And some of these items we need to monitor the situation, and so I'm afraid we aren't able
Who
to
the fuck
determine
asked about
exactly
Blue
when this is
Mage?
going to happen. But we do intend
people that play Blue
on doing it. We will share more information when we are
Fucking mean
going
class.
to do like a patch specific like
Blue Mage the
updates
healer?
live stream.
No.
Please note that even if
it's a
if
damage
it's
class,
not
but it's a
written
mean
in
class.
the document, it doesn't mean that we're
It's an
not going
incomplete
to do
mean
it.
class. It's
So,
fucking weird.
Yeah, there might be information that
What
we're
you're saying is the
still
game
in
has
the
bad
planning
class balance.
phases, and we weren't
No,
able
Blue
to
Mage is just a
solidify
whole
at this time. So
strange beast.
we will
bad class
continue
balance,
to
Bad class
look
balance.
at the various
class
existing
design.
content
So,
and,
so
and
if there's a
provide
whole
updates
ass
when we
class
can.
that is just unplayable,
No, you can play it.
まあなんか
It's just
パッチ情報を出すとみんな細かい
Describe it.
どうってやっぱりなっちゃう
play
ね
a shaman
あの
tank in WoW
まあ
Classic. It doesn't mean you
皆さんが思
should.
ってることは基本的にやってるんで
It's really hard to
大丈夫
describe.
ですよ
If you look at Blue Mage,
I see that people in the comments are talking
Kexman
about
goes to open
various,
Pandora's box.
granular areas of patch updates, and I think it's
Blue
safe
Mage
to
is
say
like the
that,
masochist of Final Fantasy.
things
Like
that
you have to
people-
get hit
we,
and
we
then
know
learn how
people
to hit.
are expecting in a regular update will more than likely be included. So I want to make sure that yeah, don't be worried.
まあアルカスソーダラの次がのはどうなるの種族ってどうなるのとかももう全部決まってますちゃんとマイパッチやっていくのでまああれかなこれかなって思いながら待っていただけると嬉しいです
What the fuck is the point in the blue mage?
And the tribal quest beyond Arkasudara
It
is,
exists.
I'm sure a
What is
mystery, but we have a plan.
Imagine this,
we
Dunkurk.
do have
You're
like
in WoW.
which
You roll a new
group
character
to
with a new class.
focus in on, and
But
we
the
do
new
want
class cannot go
to
up to the
have
maximum
content
level.
available per
It cannot
each of
do
the patch.
duty. It
So
cannot do random
it'd be
group
great if
finder.
you could
It gains
wait,
greater
or
experience
not
from
wait, but
killing
like
enemies in the open world.
speculate. Kind of imagine
it
what
is- it-
kind of which
it's-
tribe will we be
It's just
focusing
really,
in on.
like,
Hold on,
あ
hold
と
on.
ゴールドソ
So
ー
it
サー
can't
も
do
予定してるんですけ
LFG.
ど
Sold.
4になるか5になるか
It's,
Hang on,
you
wait,
just
wait,
told
hang on,
Dunkirk
wait.
is perfect
Wait,
class.
wait,
And
wait, wait.
we do
Can't
intend on
LFG,
making
it
gold
doesn't go to
saucer
maximum
updates,
level,
but we
and it
still
can't
haven't
do quests.
determined if it's going to be 6.4 or 6.5.
So it's a RuneScape
so that's
character.
why we're not mentioning it
Sold.
at this time.
さあというわけで、
Get Ram in here.
まあ変わらず
Found the game for
ノリノリでやっていきますよというお知らせでした。
But yeah, just wanted to
Apparently
go through
Dunkirk.
all these roadmaps
Just for-
just
to cater
so
to people
that we
like
know that
Dunkirk.
we continue,
Don't have to do
or
the
we
story.
plan to
Don't have to
continue
do
providing
LFG.
very
Don't even have to get to max
updates.
level. It's
ただですね
fucking.
一個皆さんにこれを踏まえてですね、
That's it.
ちょっとお知らせをさせてください。
You had to be hidden somewhere.
But with that being said, allow me to make one announcement.
Oh my god.
メジャーパッチのサイクルについてです。
Hmm?
And this
Dates?
is regarding the major patch cycle.
What's Blizzard got to do with
こ
this?
れまでですね、申請スタートからですね、まあ
Oh?
ずっとできるだけこの 3.5 ヶ月に
Is it gonna go to
1
like
メジャー
5
パッチ配信っていうのを、まあ、目標に掲げてやってきました。
So of course, since the relaunch as a
It'd just be like, now it's 4.
we've
It's been
tried to
like
keep
10 ass
this
years
pace
of
of
4 months.
one major patch update per every 3.5 months.
で、これをですね、本当申し訳ないん
Wait,
です
that's
が、
exactly 3 and a
2週
half.
間プラスしてですね、
Every 4. Okay, yeah.
させてください。
That's not the
Oh,
biggest
half
deal.
of Blizzard's time.
And I'm
Yeah, but-
terribly sorry to ask
I understand
this,
what you're doing
ask
there,
you
and
of
yes,
this,
half
but
Blizzard.
we need to extend it by 2 weeks, and so
safe-
we
it's
want
safe-
to
it's safe
change
to
it so
say
that it's
that
one
is more
major
content.
patch every
Kex is
4
like,
months.
aren't you
で、
funny?
この2
Haha.
週間って何かっていうと
Are you
です
sure
ね
about that? So after 8 months,
まあ我々
Final Fantasy
開
will have
発内
2
では
patches worth of
実
content
装
to
期間っていうの
Blizzard's
と調
half
整
of
期間
one.
っていうので大きく2つあるんですけど、この実装期間にプラスあと1週間、それから調整期間にプラスあと1週間の時間をいただいて
It's good that、
まあ
they're
マイ
letting
メジャ
people
ー
know
パ
though,
ッチを
like that's still
3.5 ヶ月でなんとかやってきた
Yeah,
の
yeah.
をちょっと4ヶ月、まあにプラス
Well, the
2
thing
週
is
させていただけると助かります。
It would help if any
So
MMO,
of course we have periods of our
yeah,
development
it-
like
cycle
studio
where
would do, if
it's
WoW was like, okay, we're
development
going
and
to aim for like every this
implementation,
month rather than
and
No,
various
we're going to tell you
adjustments
now.
and tuning that we
No,
do.
no.
So
Why?
Blizzard
there's
did
2
that,
weeks
remember?
that
Oh,
we
did they?
ask
And then they fucked it?
Expansion
of
every
you
year.
for patience
yeah.
is
Remember?
1
No,
week
no, no.
for
That was
additional
what they wanted.
implementation.
Remember?
And
Exactly.
then
You're gonna go to
1
bed
week
today, it's
for-
Ray.
1
Sleep well.
additional for
Thank you for
fine
hanging around.
tuning. So that
It's better
makes
that they
it,
don't aim for something.
that 3.5 months now
It's
turns
bad that they
into 4
can't.
months.
Rather
で
than
ですね
it's bad that they
あの
say it and then
夏季
don't.
休暇期間と
Learn
か
to
まあ
pull
我
the
々やっ
whips
ぱ
out
り
in the
サマーバ
office
ケーショ
for
ンスタッフ
non-sexual
に渡
purposes.
したりですね、年末年始やっぱり家族とねゆっ
Motivation.
くり過ごしてほしいっていうのがあるので、まあ夏季休暇期
It pushes
間
out
と
the
か
regular
年末年始の
or
場合
it
に
gets
は
the
まあ
holes
これ
again.
にプラス1週間
Again,
させて
it's
い
a
ただ
good
くこと
job
があるかなと
you're
思います。
Yeah, again.
I
Jesus
support
And in
Christ.
addition to
You know what you're
that,
getting into
Oh.
getting into the
we
industry.
do have breaks,
You fucking
summer
they, no,
vacation,
they fucking know what they're getting into getting into
holidays,
that
New
industry.
Year's holidays. I'm sure.
With the knowledge
people
they have,
family
they
that
could
would-
go
they
and
would
earn
Oh
visit
my-
6
over the
figures in a
holidays.
normal software
And
dev
so,
job.
This is
for
not the
those
hill to die
holiday
on, though.
seasons, we
Yes, it fucking
might
is.
see
Oh my
They know
God.
what
an
they're getting
additional
into.
like 1 week's not
They
delays,
fucking
but 1
know
week's
they can go work at McDonald's if they want
time
worse
added as well.
conditions.
まあやっぱりここまでその前半の10年間っていうところでもお伝えしましたけど、
We hear
相
anything
当
you do, but you don't. Do not condone.
みんなの開発チームの連中の
Fuck
モチベーションっていうところに頼って
Hi, my name is Farniro. My views are my own, and the opinions of Dunkirk does not represent us as a whole. Or this
Hello,
stream.
my name is
まあ休
Hello,
み
my
た
name
い
is
というより
Kexman.
はや
My
っぱり
opinions
適
are my
切に
own.
みん
The
な
views
健
of
康
Dunkirk.
で
More crunch.
健やかに開発に取り組むことでよりクオリティも上がっていくだろう。
What
まあ
makes
事
Rice
実足りて
Krispies
ない
great?
無理をしてきたっていうとこ
I
ろ
can
があるので
honestly see, like-
それが理
What
由に
makes
Hang on,
Rice
what-
Krispies great?
Crisp.
As I explained in the first half, when we were looking back at our first 10 years, we really depended on the
It's in the
motivation
fucking name.
of
You know
each
what?
of the developers.
I
that
could
are
see
on
like
the
them
team.
posting up like the picket signs and protesting outside Blizzard. Dunkirk like answer tweets with him holding up a sign saying
looking
more
at our
crunch.
schedule and
Get
how
back
we
to work,
work,
you lazy asshole.
I do want
No,
my
he gets
team
confused
to
with the Rice Krispies thing
be
and it just says
healthy
more
and
crisp.
be able to
Stan
sort of
confuses
maintain a
everyone.
good level of quality because
did
they
you
are
not go with
taking the
Honey Nut
necessary
Crunch?
breaks.
It was
Because
right
it's
there.
disgusting.
To be honest, there were areas where
yeah,
we
it was
might
right
not
there.
have performed
Well, I can't say
as
what's
well
good
as
about
we
it, you
should
went
have,
literally fucking
because
nothing.
some of us may have been pushing too hard. So that's
Yeah.
the reasoning behind why we want additional time.
What's the best part about Rice Krispies?
でまあ非常にね皆さん優しいコメントいただけてるんでとても嬉しい
For
特に
fuck's
スタッフ
sake,
の
Dunkirk.
とかね気遣っていただけてるんで
You are.
嬉しいんですけどまあこれ
All
は
I'm
ね
s- look at
2.0から
right,
ね
listen
なん
to
と
my
か
argument on a
3.5
balanced,
ヶ月でこうや
unbiased
ってき
point
た
of view.
そのこ
Fuck's
の
sake.
Right? Listen to it.
10
Genuinely,
Any,
people who
Any
go into the
opinion,
game
any
industry,
opinion. まあやってきたんですけ
viewpoint that you
ど
have is not fair.
ちょっとね比較を持ってきました
No, it's not.
anybody who goes into the game industry today
And
knows what
thank
the
you so
fuck
much
industry they're
for
going
the
into.
kind
Oh my God.
comments regarding our staff. and,
I'm muting for a moment.
Making sure that you're
Fuck.
showing your concern to our staff members. It really warms my heart, and I'll make sure to relay that. But considering what we've been doing in terms of providing an update every 3.5 months since 2.0, and we work with a schedule of like such and such weeks for implementation and whatnot. So we put together this comparison chart for you to take a look.
まあこれまで、企画開発、調整デバッグっていうのを、まあ、3.5 ヶ月でやってきてたんですけど
What is
Of
this?
course, our development largely is broken down to
Jesus.
planning, development, adjustments, and debug. And this is
This
some
is
of
the juicy
numbers that
charts
we
that we
pulled
needed.
up.
まあ、パッチ
Yes, but where are the
3.3 の
players?
時が左の列 5.3 の時が右
Fuck that,
の
items.
列です
I am
Look,
the only
column
voice
on the
word
left
count. Look at
is,
that. Look at
patch
that jump up.
3.3 series
21,000.
timing.
Look at that. See?
And then the column on the right
on.
is patch 5.3
UI
series.
system word count.
まあ、コンテンツ
That's
数
not
が
a
ね
good
そ
thing.
こまで極端にいくわけじゃないんですけどやっぱジョブ数がまず11だったのが
I was saying voiced word count, not UI.
Also, Farsier, quest word count has also
これ当
almost
然
doubled.
調整コストめちゃ
Yeah,
く
read
ちゃ増
more,
えて
you
るんで
thespian.
増えましたな
So
Someone
I mean,
bought
the
you a word
number of,
calendar for Christmas, didn't they?
content, like types
No,
of
I just know
content
that
may
one.
not have varied
What does it
over the years, but if you look
He
at
doesn't know what it
say,
means, he
like
just
the number
knows
of
the word
jobs,
exists.
From patch 3.3,
He might
11
stumble into
jobs,
the
we've
proper
now
usage
jumped up to
occasionally, but it's
18.
purely
Relating to drama or
There's
theatre
a
or
lot of
actor and
different balance
actress.
adjustments for those.
Okay,
Number of
so how
bosses
does
have
that
gone
relate
from
to
17 to 23.
Reading quest text.
もちろんね
It's so dramatic that it's so much- so many
開発スタッフっていうの
words.
も皆さんからいただいた月額課金で、
It's
まあどんどん採
literally
用してどんどん
almost
増や
half a
してい
million
って
words.
チーム規模も当然上がってるんです
How many words are in
じ
the
ゃあ
English
人が増え
language?
ればそんなに簡単に
I
僕
mean,
ら工
technically,
場
they're all
製品
just
作っ
they're
てる
all
わけじゃ
just
ないの
the
で
same 24 letters
量
in a
産
different
が上がるかっていうとやっぱり
Fuck
そうではないトレーニングも必要経験も必要やっぱりそんなスーパー
I
エ
love
ー
how
ス
they've got
た
UI
ちが
system
中
word
川
count
とか須藤とかが
100,000 to
バンバン育ってるわけじゃないの
242,000.
で
Yeah, this is better.
We've doubled the words required to understand how to play
Of
the
course,
game.
with our development team,
No one asked for
thanks
this.
to the support
Tasks for
via
the UI
monthly
team,
submissions, our
169 to
subscriptions from
290.
everybody,
Work
we are
more.
able to
Oh,
strengthen
crunch.
our team. We were able to hire
No.
additional staff, and
Shut
so
up.
our
Wait, hang
team
on.
has definitely grown. But I mean, we're not in a factory manufacturing, like
They've
we're
added-
not an
they've added
assembly
nearly-
line. So we
Yeah, see, they're not an
require
assembly line,
training.
Dunkirk.
We require for
Also,
our
this is just
staff to
the
gain
difference between
experience.
3.3 and
Not
5.3.
everybody is a
Yeah.
super ace player like Nakagawa or
150,000 more
Pseudo.
words, but only 20 more quests.
例えばこ
How
の開
fucking
発チー
wordy
ム
were
の
those
運営チーム
quests?
三角形だとした場合に
Urianger was part of
三
many
角
of
の
them.
スケールはめっちゃ大きくできるんですよ
はいはいはい
だけど結局上の方に行くと、どこまで行っても最後は頂点のディレクターとかプロデューサーってなってくるとここがやっぱそんな簡単には増えないんで、まあ
No.
何でもかんでもたくさん調整もチェックもせずに出すってわけにもいかないからまあ吉田を
When half
別
the
に分身
cutscenes
させろ
could
と
have
か
been
その
like
培養して
Also,
増やせばって
That's still less cutscenes than fucking
テクノロジーがそこまで追いつい
StarCraft
てないんで
No, it isn't.
You're
pretty
fucking
if
playing
you would imagine
StarCraft 2
our
wrong, mate.
sort of
It's a
StarCraft
multiplayer
is
RTS.
or
Like, what the
how
fuck
we're
are you
organized
doing?
as like a
All
giant
StarCraft 2
triangle.
cutscenes come to about
And
58
of course, we can
minutes.
always scale
No,
the
I'm
triangle
pretty sure
to
it's
be
longer than
larger,
that.
but I mean, it's still a triangle,
Also,
so the tip is very
StarCraft
small.
doesn't pride itself on its
And
story
when you
being
get
its
to like
main
the director
fucking
and
point.
producer level, I mean, we train fantastic people, but like it doesn't grow in numbers as
don't
much as
understand
like
what
when you
argument you're
scale
trying
the,
to make, Farniro,
the
but it's
lower part
wrong.
of it, and there still
StarCraft 2, the trilogy, 4K
requires
movie, Wings
a lot
Liberty, Heart
of
the Swarm, Galaxy of the Void,
adjustments
1 hour,
that
57
need to be
minutes.
applied on the things that we do create.
So less than
And of course,
3.3.
it would be awesome if we can create like multiples of
Oh,
Yoshida.
according to this
maybe
video there, the full trilogy
clone
is
him
7
or,
hours.
like-
Yeah, of gameplay.
but
Yeah,
still, it
the
is quite a
cutscenes.
challenge.
Just to cut to,
吉
like,
田
if
に
you put
ハイ
the
ディング
gameplay for
分
FFXIV,
割しようって言われてるけど、それ薄く
97
なって
hours
ん
of
じゃん、
running
一
from
応
A
し
to
だ。
B to start a
If you
company.
if you just do cutscenes for all
Somebody's
3 of
saying,
the StarCraft 2
perform
games,
the
it's around 57
Heidelin kick
minutes.
on Yoshida and sunder him,
That's
then
too
we'll
long.
have 14 of him. But then, wait, no,
I
but
agree.
he's
No
sundered,
cutscenes
so
is
he's
better.
like the
Gameplay
thinner.
first.
Like, you have a diluted version of him.
That's why
いや
StarCraft
いや
has the quick
まあ
match
でも
button.
ね、例えばそのカッ
That's
ト
why
シ
it's
ー
still
ンの
that like really
数
well
字なん
played
てね、
game.
2時間
Oh.
25分トータルだったあのね、自動送りしていくと
Experiencing a
まあ
resurgence,
8
and also
4
that's
時間
not because of the
30分になってるん
game.
ですけど
That's
Oh, no.
because
the
the company that makes the game have made some ridiculously bad
人も増やし
decisions.
いろんな会社さんにお願いして腕のいい人たちにたくさんカットシーンやっ
A
ぱ
lot
作って
like
もらってるん
putting
ですけど
4.5
どうしても
hours
ね
of
ディレクション
cutscenes
する
in the
側っていう
game.
のの人数は限られてくるのでそれでも
Don't you play the game?
Putin.
I thought he said Putin then, yeah. I was like, what?
I mean, Putin
And
has
if you look
made
at
bad
the
decisions.
cutscenes, we went from 2 hours 25 minutes to 4 hours and 30 minutes, and this is like if you let the dialogue autoplay. But I mean, we have brought on many talented people onto our teams, but we still require somebody to look at the product that they create, and there needs to be a director that makes sure that we're
And that fucking
aligned.
director sat down and went, cash him for
もう
turn
なん
5.
か面白いもうなんか能力の薄い吉田のただのやからやんけって
Oh yeah, Castro makes up 2 hours of that. By the way, they didn't tell you.
Comments so going on about Sundered Yoshida, like, well, but what if he's like that's like a low quality Yoshida? It's just a man.
まあというわけでですねこれからもちょっと今日お伝えした内容 7.0 に向かっていろいろやっていきますパッチの物量というのも頑張ってまた作っていきますしクオリティとか調整というところも妥協なくねまた進めていきたいとは思うんですがまあその分ですねちょっとこれまでのパッチサイクル3.5 ヶ月にプラス2週させていただいて4ヶ月っていうサイクルでですねここから先まだまだ楽しみにお届けしていこうと思ってます
But yeah, we are making various plans leading up to 7.0, and we still want to continue bringing you the different patch updates. And so, with the different elements that we implement, as well as the balancing that we do, the fine tuning, we don't want to compromise any of that. That's why we do want to continue producing the patches to the quality that we hold ourselves up to. So we do want to ask for that initial 2 weeks so that we will have the 4-month patch cycle. But we will continue to bring you regular updates.
まあ本当にあと10年やっていけばとてつもなく長い旅になると思ってます皆さんとね一緒に今度は20年歩んでいこうってことになるかと思います
And we strive for another 10 years. This is our goal. And I'm hoping that we will get to a point where we will be celebrating or like we will be looking back at our journey in our 20th like anniversary.
まだまだやりたいことね、チャレンジしてみたいことあります。驚いてもらえることやっていこうと思いますので、ぜひこの先もですね、一緒にまたボッティン作っていただけると嬉しいです。
They're the same picture.
We do want to
You need to see a
do
doctor.
more, take on more and more challenges, bring you more surprises. So I want to continue building this together with you
At the
all.
same
So
time.
yeah, it would be great if you could continue to keep with us.
はい、では前半。
Now it's the Q&A.
はい、 ありがとうございました。Thank you very much. So this is all about the first half of today's Letter Live. 今日の前半、プロデューサーレターライブの前半戦はここまでと
The next bit's
あ、
Q&A
1個忘れた。
どうぞ。
DC トラベルはいつが結構多くて、
So you can get your
今
questions
の
in.
予定
Yeah, it's 'cause
6.18 かな
MMORPG Q&A
で
is
予定
always
して
go
ますんで。
fucking famously.
Sorry, one more thing.
yeah, they are famous.
We
Is
did
it-
see a lot of comments about, so when is data center travel?
Now you can
going
compare them to how
implemented?
Blizzard handle it. when they
We
don't
are
actually answer
currently
anything.
looking at
Or
6.18
they say, you think you
timing
want
for
that, but you don't.
Yeah.
And then
はい、
2 years later go,
では、
Okay,
この後休憩
you
に
really
入る
want
んですが、ですね、今日は後半戦は、
And if we never gave you that,
別の
you would
方
have
を
never got
お願い
these
すること
Barney,
になって
the
おりますの
Barney
で、アイミさ
series
んが
for
ここまで
Scarab
とな
Lord.
ります。So before going
J. Allen
to
Brack is
break,
responsible for Barney.
because we have another person
There you go.
for translation for the Q&A part. So that's it for あいみさん today. So あいみさん、皆さんに一言ご挨拶お願いします。
はい、長い間お付き合いいただきありがとうございました。Thank you guys so much for your patience as we navigate through all of this. But yeah, I will see you guys some other at another opportunity.
Oh wait, are we out in the ocean on our
あ
own
りがとうござい
now?
ます。Thank you very much,
She
あいみさ
leaving?
ん。
ま
では
あ、僕がね、安心してこうゲームシステムの話っていうのを全世界の皆さんに
Yep, so
こう
get your
いつもの
Japanese
調子でお届けできるのは
Oh,
本当にあゆみさんの高い翻訳スキル、特にね僕の性格を把握した上でのやっぱり、トランスレーションがねもう長くなりますので、ね、僕らもコンビを組ませてもらって、
No, no
本当に助か
problem.
ってます
We'll be
いつも
fine.
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。ここどうやって訳
You know Mada Mada, right?
吉田さんは
Yeah,
Thank
because-
you.
あいみさん really knows Yoshida-san's characteristics very well, so it's we are very relying on あいみさん's translation for when he explains the game systems or mechanics. So thank you very much, あいみさん again.
Thank you.
はい、
Yeah, that
で
makes
は
sense. They
今
don't
から
need a
一
translator
人
for
に
like
入るんですが、
answering questions.
1時40
they need
分
one when they're
再開
trying to
So,
explain
we
complex
want
systems that they
to
have in their head in
restart the
Japanese.
latter part of the letter live at the 1:40 p.m. Japan time, which is in 20 minutes. でですね、今日の休憩の音もご紹介したいと思います。So, during the break, we have 2 videos today for you to enjoy.
20分あるから1本ならいいやと思ったら2本あんのかよ。
Yeah, we have a 3-second digest preview of all the songs from the upcoming Endwalker soundtrack, and a time-lapse video of mosaic art we created live using screenshots that we were submitted by our players during another broadcast. 2本ありまして、1本目は、
It is
先
amazing the way
日つい
that,
最近公
like,
開しました
Japanese
エン
people
ドウォー
speak
カー
English
の
can
サントラが出ます。それの
just
3
sunbed
秒
in
ダイジェストの
Japanese.
全曲紹介の、トレーラーがありますので、そちらをご覧いただき、その後ですね、これも先日ご紹介しましたが、
I've
別
half
の
mastered
生
that
放
skill.
送
I can
企
slip
画
into
で、
English.
モザイクアート、皆さんからお送りいただいたスクリーンショットでモザイクア
He's
ートを
always speaking
作る
Scottish and he can
という
slip into English for just
そ
speaking
れ
with
の
me.
タイムラプスビデオがありますので、こちらの方も続けてご覧いただいて
It doesn't work, yeah, you should do
また
it.
You need to understand the cultural consequences of every word you're saying.
And you clearly don't, apparently. As is evident by the past.
That seems to be a good place to end that, so we could use this as the note.
It does have the context of you need to be watching the live thing at the same time to get why we're.
And yet somehow it still has more context than most of the shows we've done.
True.
I just mean it's basically a riff tracks.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we did do that Warcraft riff tracks, didn't we? The Warcraft movie.
We did. I know a couple of people that have listened to that and they said they really enjoyed it.
Good. We made that movie more entertaining.
But people subscribe to the fucking Patreon for that?
I hope so.
That.
No.
Well, I mean, it's the only thing you get out
I
of
choose to believe that's what we got.
it. Not just that, he says, as if there was anything else on the Patreon.
Oh, it's grown.
That's great.
Oh! It's Max
Max
Rebo!
Rebo. That's where he was.
That's how he survived. He knew.
Oh,
Oh no. Oof.
Reinhardt. Oh, that's unsettling.
Yeah, that's
unsettling.
That was the story.
That's unsettling. That's not. That's unsettling. That's unsettling. That's unsettling.
You just gonna say it to everything?
Unsettling.
That's unsettling.
Ah, so you know.
Unsettling.
That's unsettling. That's fine.
Ah, Pokemon.
That's unsettling. That's unsettling. That is unsettling. That's fine. That's
Griffin's
upsetting.
fucking pissed.
That Griffin was fucked up.
I don't like the elephant people. They look like they're missing some of their trunk. Oh.
They are. Ugh.
Ugh.
Don't know.
Nah, Highland.
It's pronounced Hidely Hole.
Is it a burger?
Yeah, that's Graha eating the burger.
Is that C++?
Don't play this fucking music. Motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's shit.
Shut your fucking mouth.
Well, you don't want to hear it, so it must be shit.
That's true.
No, it's not. Get out of here. That song. That melody. All this music. One thing that like Final Fantasy honestly does well is like it is great music.
I'll help you first here. Control S turns off music.
Yeah, I bet you fucking did.
It's just repetitive, man.
You're repetitive.
I found some of the music that had like the lyrics and stuff a little bit cringe.
Yeah.
Cringe.
Yeah.
Weird.
One of those songs is just them saying the name of the expansion over and over again.
Which one?
I can't fucking remember. One
Yeah,
of the
I bet you can't.
ones. One of the
Is that
Stormblood
Henrik?
ones. Fuck all that. You don't need any of that. Just put Spotify on. Listen to your own music.
It's on YouTube.
Not unlike running for Eorzea to Toto's Africa.
Nah, that's not good.
Excuse you.
Yeah, you heard me. Doesn't feel good, does it?
No, you're not allowed to shit on Africa like that.
I mean, I can.
They're a developing nation, Farniro. They've had enough. Nation?
It's like, you sure? Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Hey Ash, how's it going? Welcome on in. A singular nation. Yes. Singular nation, Dunkurk. Right,
I mean, at this rate,
he's sticking with his final answer on that one. That's what he's sticking with.
I know the future.
I have know the future.
You really
Yeah.
don't.
Have you not know the future?
I can't say I have know the future.
Have you even been so far as to decide to do look more like?
Twice.
Ah, well, how do you not know the future?
Well, I know the future is I'm gonna head off because
Because Ukraine's about to end the world, and
Wait,
you won't
Ukraine
sleep
is?
through that.
yeah,
Yeah, if they didn't exist, none of this would happen.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
it's true.
The views of Dunkurk do not reflect everyone else on YouTube, but you don't, and on this channel.
I mean,
Thank you.
Kexman just said it's true, so they do apparently.
X-Man. You don't want to be on that hill with him.
Is he incorrect?
Yes.
If Ukraine didn't exist, Russia wouldn't be invading Ukraine right now. That's a factually accurate statement.
That is a factually accurate statement.
You're a factually accurate mistake.
Okay, it's also factually accurate to say that mosaic would have been a lot better if they hadn't had blue images spread in all the images. If Kexman closed the stream before us. But no, if there was no Ukraine, there would be no fight. Easy.
On that note, goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye forever as thermonuclear war settles in across the planet.
You're quite the optimist, aren't you, Dunkurk?
Have you seen this planet for the last, like, 15 years?
Yes. I tend to live on it.
Yeah, you may as well be pessimistic.
No, you can still get through life without being fucking moany, fucking doomsaying shitter.
No, you just assume the worst is always going to happen, because it usually fucking does.
No,
Yeah.
no, but I guess that's the difference between us. Right, well, as a Q&A is going to be Q&A, I'm gonna step out.